Thank you for confirming. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to our friends and guests and community members. And everyone who is here. We are honored to have you here, and we are very excited to have you here with us. I just want to know where everyone's joining us from. So if you could tell me in the chats where in the world you're joining us from as we start this morning and kind of wait for others to join us. So if you could let me know in the chat where in the world you're joining us from this morning, that would be amazing. Good morning. Good morning and welcome. Very excited to see everyone this morning and very glad that you have joined us. Good morning, Richard from Lagos, Nigeria. Good morning, Nkem from Milan. Wow, this is fun. Milan is the fashion capital of the world, and we're here this morning at a fashion masterclass. So that's just perfect. Good morning, Nkem. Good morning, Oluwakorede from from Lagos. Good morning, Bukumi. Good morning, Rukayat. Good morning. I see you as well, YouTube fam. Good morning and welcome. Very, very, very honored to have everyone join us this morning. Thank you for making time out to join us this morning, and thank you for joining us. All right. Good morning to Rukayat from Lagos. Very, very excited to welcome you. And very glad to see you here with us this morning. Good morning, Oluwa. Would I hope I said that correctly. Good morning, Alavisi. Welcome. All right. I'm very glad to welcome you here. We have a packed agenda this morning, and we're going to be here for a couple hours. So I want to run through that very quickly to give everybody a sense of why we're here and what we are going to be doing this morning. Welcome to the Mo Balogun Fashion Masterclass. I will talk in a moment about why we're here, but for now, we are going to be learning a little bit more about the event and why we're here and Immerse Coaching Company that convenes this event. We are going to be celebrating the life of Mo Balogun. With a tribute video, we are going to be having a keynote speech, and we are going to be having two masterclass sessions. We're going to be having two masterclass sessions. You will have the opportunity to ask questions. We are going to talk a little bit about the foundation that has been created in honor of Mo Balogun, and we are just going to have a wonderful time together. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with the, just give me a moment to fix that. There we go. So for those of you who are unfamiliar, ladies and gentlemen, guests, friends, honored participants, we are welcoming you, and we're very excited to welcome you to the Mo Balogun Fashion Masterclass. We're here today to celebrate the life and the impact and the legacy of Mo Balogun, whose life continues to impact all of us, even in her passing. Mo Balogun was a team member of the Immerse Coaching Company, which you will learn about in just a moment if you are not familiar, so please stay with me. She was a team member of the Immerse Coaching Company until she passed in 2019, December 2019. She worked very closely with our CEO, and she was an exceptional team member, but also more importantly, and why we're here today, she was an exceptional fashion enthusiast who had a big vision to revolutionize the way that African fashion industry is set up and is run. Every year at Immerse, we partner with her family to host a fashion event in her honor, which we are here for today. This is the fourth of the series of events that we have held in her honor, and today we're here to not only celebrate her life, we're here to reflect on her legacy, we're here to reflect on the life that she lived, but also to carry on her vision, her passion, and the thing that she was most passionate about, which was to revolutionize the fashion industry in Africa. We are all very fortunate to be inspired and to have her life impact all of us in a life well lived, both in living and even in her death. We are fortunate to have a life continue to impact all of us, a life of legacy, a life of excellence, a life of impact, and a life of indelible compassion has left a mark on all of us. And so we are here to celebrate that life, but also to learn and to, talk about the fashion industry. So once again, you're welcome. If you are not familiar with Immerse Coaching Company, you will learn about Immerse Coaching Company in a moment. But if you are a member of our community, we are very, very, very excited to have you here. And we hope that you would have a wonderful time with us today. All right. On that note, I'm going to be calling up the Deputy General Manager of Immerse Coaching Company, who is going to be telling us a little bit about Immerse Coaching Company, the organization that has put together this event. So please welcome Deputy General Manager, Immerse Coaching Company, Olabisi Olayomi. Obayomi, I'm so sorry. That's very weird. DJ, are you there? Can you hear us okay? Okay. All right, she's gonna join us in a moment. I think her internet might be... All right, I think her internet might be freezing, but she's gonna join us in a moment. All right, while we wait for her, I want to know just, who is joining us here this morning. So if you are a member of our Immerse community, would you let us know in the chat by, representing the Immerse community? And if you're joining us, if this is your first time joining us at any Immerse event as well, would you let us know in the comments as well? We want to get a feel of who is here. Hi, Amelia, that's a member of our community. We want to get a sense of who is here. I see so many people on YouTube from Abuja as well. Just welcome everyone. Very, very, very glad to have everyone here with us. All right, so while we bring up our Deputy General Manager, if you could let me know. All right, so many first timers. And I also see that there are a bunch of people who are members of our community as well. I want to say a big welcome. Welcome to everyone. Whether you are a first timer or whether you're joining any Immerse community, anyone who says Coach Faye, I know where you're from. Whether you are a first timer in our community or whether you are an existing member of our community, you're welcome, and we are glad to have you here with us. Okay. All right, I see that, even on YouTube as well. So many people. Hello. All right. That's wonderful. All right, thank you so much for joining us. You are going to have a wonderful time, like I said. And for those who are just joining us, I'm going to run through our agenda just one more time so that you know why we're here today. I have just gone through a quick introduction, reminding us about why we're here and whose life we're celebrating here today. We are about to hear from the Deputy General Manager of Immerse Coaching Company, who is going to be giving us a brief about Immerse Coaching Company. And then we are going to be watching a quick video, a quick tribute video about Mo Balogun. We're going to be having a keynote speech from the CEO of Immerse Coaching Company. And then we're going to be having 2 masterclasses with 2 exceptional guests. There'll be opportunities for you to ask questions as well. So please bring your questions along and be ready to ask your questions. And we're just going to wrap up after that is done. DJ, are you ready for me? All right, on that note, let's do it again. Very excited to welcome the Deputy General Manager of the Immerse Coaching Company, who is going to be telling us a little bit about the Immerse Coaching Company. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you so much, Katri. You're welcome, everyone. You're welcome to the MOBALO Fashion Masterclass. I believe you all can hear me. We're so delighted to welcome you, and I'm going to be doing a very quick one on Immerse Coaching Company, who we are, what we do. For those of us that are just joining us for the very first time and may not really understand or know Immerse, so you're just coming to understand Immerse Coaching Company for the very first time. So I'll do a very quick one in a couple of minutes to share with us what Immerse Coaching Company stands for, who we are, and what we've been doing in a couple of months, or years rather, since inception. So Immerse Coaching Company, we're committed to helping master your genius, expand your leadership, influence, and multiply your wealth. That's who we are, and that is what we do. Very importantly for us. And we are an edtech institution providing transformational coaching courses and community to empower African visionaries and leaders just like you, those of us that are here, to be able to help, influence and to be able to project, impact to the nations, and starting from our own lives. So that's very important for Immerse Coaching Company. We believe that when your life, your mind is transformed, we know that your life will be transformed, and ultimately it will spiral. It's a spiraling effect, and it will have, impact into the nations and the society at large. So that is very key for us and really important. We've made impact and equipped 70,000 plus visionaries so far, and we're really in sync with the SDG 5, which is gender equality, and SDG 4, which is providing quality education for women and female youths. Our vision is to build Africa by releasing the greatness in its visionaries through transformational coaching that empowers everyday people to transform our continent for good. Just as I've said earlier, it's more about the continent, eventually the African continent. We're all out for transformation, and we ensure that, you release your greatness in visionaries and leaders, people like you as well. So our founder is DDK. She's a multi-influential coach. She's a catalyst, a consultant, a capacity builder, Christ-centered ministry gift. You're going to learn more about her in the coming very soon, in a few minutes' time, when she's going to be taking our keynote speech. We're going to be reading her bio before that, so you'll learn more about her at that time. Very key for us at Immerse Inner Circle. So we have a community of visionary women. That's our membership, our coaching membership, which is to help you unlock your higher potential, manifest your greatness, and multiply your wealth, just as I have said earlier. And just as I said, we've served a global community of 70,000 plus members with more than 200 short courses and programs, having a network of 200 plus support coaches and guest mentors. I'm going to show you, some of our, statistics. Yeah, so we've had 70,000 plus members. Our members are visionary women using our breakthrough coaching to change their own lives and their communities around them. We've also had 7,000 plus premium members, those who have paid for our courses. And since we've been here since 2014, doing amazingly and, providing transformational coaching for people, leaders like you. So we've also had 200 plus short courses, and it's amazing that we've been 9 years in the month of August, this same August, and it's just so amazing for us right now that we're celebrating more now, and we're 9 years this same month. It's so good to know. Plus 200 plus short courses, reaching over 100 countries, and then 500 plus businesses. We also provide corporate coaching. Our support coaches are over 200 and guest mentors. We have this amazing conscious change making project, which, as our hearts so dearly. It is one way to give back to the community, give back to the society, give back to the vulnerable, give back to the less privileged. And we've had over $7,500 that has been contributed to this to this and to this great initiative. We're proud to say that our members are doing amazingly, giving back to society. So when you join us at Immerse Coaching Company, you're not just, getting that knowledge and getting that transformation for yourself. You're also giving back to the community, which is so good and premium for us. Yes, I'm going to be moving quickly to our membership plan just to give you a grasp of what we do and what our membership plan is about. We have the Sprout Woman plan, which is for ladies between the 15 and the 22 years age mark, and then we do this to ensure that young women start super early and they start using their inspirational leadership. They start overcoming stigmas, stereotypes, and they're able to gain clarity on time and early in life. Please, can you still hear me? Am I audible? Thank you, Coach Faye. And then we have the Superwoman plan, which provides you with all you need to step into a life of upgrade. It's a fantastic way to really start. It's a fantastic way to really start and begin your Immerse Inner Circle community, your journey, especially Thank you very much. So someone has been requesting to remote control my screen and I've been declining it. Is there a challenge somewhere? Please, can you send that person out? Thank you. All right. Are we fine now? Can I go ahead? Can you still hear me? All right. Thank you very much, Coach Faye. All right. So the Superwoman plan is just a way to start, your life upgrade. It's a fantastic way to begin your inner circle journey. If you're not within that age range that I had mentioned earlier for the Sprout Woman, an amazing time to do this. And then a Future Forward Female Mastermind is an exclusive coaching community for visionary women and female leaders. This is where DDK shares one-on-one, not necessarily one-on-one, but she has this community of visionaries where she shares with them often. Yes, so moving on to our breakthrough methodology, which is really supreme and important to us, is a way of, ensuring accountability and support. So we curated a number of things to ensure that we help you win when you join Immerse Inner Circle. And then it will help you build an elegant life of peace, purpose, and prosperity without trading the things that truly matter to you. So we have our courses, we have our content, we have coaching, we have our community, we have conferences just like this. We set it up to ensure that you have an amazing time and we just ensure and curate all of these things to help you really win. And then a conscious change making project, like I mentioned earlier, where we give back to the community, an amazing, great initiative that our members engage in. Meet our guest mentors. These are amazing people. I know you know a number of them. This is just a cross section. It's just a few of them, not all. We have a network of over 200 high-profile and well-experienced professionals. I know you can, find one or two persons or even more that you know here. So moving on to meet our partners. So there's this amazing thing we do at Immerse Inner Circle, which is partnering with brands to help them give our members premium access. They give them scholarships, offers, discounts, and the best deals on products and services and opportunities. Amazing thing. So we've partnered with Money Africa, Elf Bank, TAS, Skill Up Africa, KM University, Toka, Omi Day Photography. So our members have access to these people, and then they get the discount, they get offers, they get partnership discounts, they get that kind of discounts from them. So if you join Immerse Inner Circle, it would also give you that leverage to have such discounts and to be able to also partner with these people. Amazing thing as well. So meet some of our visionaries. These are people that are doing amazing stuff. The founder, lead creative of Gas Madus Photo Studios. Please, can we just control that? Okay. Yeah, so she gave a testimonials. I know you know some of these people. I know you might know her. She's now a believer in the ability of anyone to become more. She talked about how DDK is patient, attentive, and so is most of support coaches as well that are in the inner circle. So she said as DDK was a coach, she has shown her how to thrive through systems, connect with people, and become aware of the limitless potentiality that she possesses. And this is really good. And another, we have Christina Soname. She's a corporate trainer and author of Dear Young Professional. She's also talking about how working with DDK has shifted her into the belief that her dreams are valid and achievable. She has grown in confidence and, she has come to understand that visionary journey, which is so good. And this is one thing that our members, have to say whenever they join Immerse Inner Circle. Bumi George, CEO, Shedra Gang, many of us know her as J Booms. She also talked about how, DDK taught her, the coaching taught her mind power, and she has stopped procrastinating, push structure and hone her every day, which is so powerful for her. And many, many, many more. I cannot even keep going over and over all of the amazing testimonials that we've received as members, from members of Immerse Inner Circle. It's amazing. So here is they were inviting you to join Immerse Inner Circle. And for this amazing, event that we're holding today is another avenue for us to give back to you as well and give you a Mo Balogun discount. Right now, we're not, enrolling, but we decided to give this over to you. Give this discount, the Mo Balogun discount, a 20% discount to join Immerse Inner Circle. This is what we're giving back as well. This is open between now and next week, Tuesday, 11:59 p.m. WAT. So you're going to have to use the code MOBALO20 at checkout and use the link, there to join, immerseinnercircle.com/join. We decided to give this to you because we believe in transformation. This is one thing Mo Balogun also believed in. She's one person that, would read a tribute and would understand what we're speaking to here about how she loves transformation and how she's one person that, gives to becoming becoming the person that God has created you to be. And so we're giving this discount to you today for the women to join the Immerse Inner Circle. Please use this code MOBALO-20 at checkout and use the link there. And for the men, you're not left out for Men's Arcade Coaching Bundle. You can also use the link there, shop.immerseinnercircle.com/Men's Arcade Coaching Bundle. Use the code MOBALO20 at checkout as well. We're giving a 20% discount here for you. This is, truly amazing, and we trust that you would use this opportunity to also get transformed in your mind so that you can also get your society, your community, and Africa at large transformed and impact the society. I believe that, you have been able to understand what Immerse Coaching Company is about. For more information, you can contact our info@immerseinnercircle.com. So we're going very quickly into what we have today and moving on to the tribute video of Moradin, and I'll hand it over to Coach Faye right now. Thank you all for coming. We welcome you again.
Thank you so much. All right. Thank you so much, DGM. Thank you for that introduction into Immerse Coaching Company. Thank you so much. All right. Okay, while she was speaking, quite a number of people joined. So I'm going to do a quick recap of why we're here before we watch the tribute video for Mo Balogun. Today we're here to celebrate the life and impact and legacy of one of our most exceptional team members, Mo Balogun, who left to be with the Lord in December 2019. She had a life of impact, of compassion, and left a great mark on all of us in life and even in death. And we are honored to, at Immerse Coaching Company, be celebrating her life. This is the 4th year in a row where we have held a Fashion Masterclass in her honor. And you may be wondering why Fashion Masterclass. Moradio's big vision and passion was to revolutionize Africa's fashion industry. And so we host this event every year to carry on that legacy, to carry on that vision, and to ensure that her life her legacy, continues to live with us. Our friends are here, our families here, and for those of you who are members of the Immerse coaching community, this is not strange to you, but if you're joining us for the first time, we welcome you, and we are very honored that you have chosen to join us today. We are celebrating your life, but also we are going to be having a series of masterclasses talking about fashion. So sit back, relax, and enjoy your time here with us. And on that note, I'm going to be playing a tribute video. Give me a moment to pull that up. Yeah, I'm going to be playing a tribute video for Mo Balogun, and you will get to learn a little bit more about her and why we're here. So please enjoy.
We host a fashion event every year at Immerse. We host a fashion event called MOBALO. If you've been with us for a while, I'm sure you're already familiar with that. If you're new, you might be wondering, Immerse coaching company, fashion? Come closer, let me tell you our Mo Balogun story. Mo Balogun, Mo Balo, was a former team member and colleague at Immerse coaching company. She was very dear to the CEO and to all of us. She was a stunning team member and an exceptional.
In December of 2019, Mo went to be with the Lord. Year after year, in Mo's honor, to gather, to celebrate and inspire, we choose to celebrate a trailblazer in the world of fashion. Her vision knew no bounds and her passion ignited countless hearts. We choose to remember Mo for her wit, her wisdom, and her wonder. We choose to celebrate her bravery, her brilliance, and her beauty, her intelligence, her insightfulness, her caring, compassionate, and cheerful spirit. Her laughter was so contagious, her spirit magnetic and warm. Mo's presence was a gift, her friendship a treasure. In Mo's honor, we gather, we celebrate, and we inspire, because Mo's message lives on. It unites us through fashion, builds dreams together. Fashion fades, but Mo's impact is eternal. Today, we celebrate Mo Balogun, a trailblazer in the world of fashion. Her vision knew no bounds, and her passion ignited countless hearts. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to the Fashion Business Masterclass in honor of Mo Balogun. Please join us as we celebrate the life and the legacy of Mo. Happy birthday, Mo. We miss you and we love you. Keep singing with the angels.
Happy birthday to Mo. We miss you, we love you, and we are honored to continue to carry on your legacy and the legacy of the life that you have built while you were here with us. Okay, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, very excited to say that, we are going to be hearing from our CEO and lead coach at Immerse Coaching Company, who is going to be giving us the keynote this morning. But before we do that, I'm going to be reading very quickly her bio. So for those who are unfamiliar, you can get to know who is going to be speaking with us today. Our founder, CEO, and lead coach at Immerse Coaching Company is Debola Dejikumi, fondly known as DDK. DDK is a polymath and multi-influential coach for visionary leaders. She is internationally recognized for her phenomenal work as a transformational coach, a catalyst, a consultant, a capacity builder, and a Christ-centered ministry gift. She sits over a group of companies as well as non-denominational ministries, including Immerse Coaching Company, our global personal transformation coaching practice, Ideation Hub Africa, a public policy and impact advisory firm, and Kingdom Leaders Global Alliance. DDK is a certified visionary leadership coach by the Ole Konovalov Global Certification, a certified Gallup Strengths coach, a certified master's practitioner of the International Association of Coaching, and she was named as Nigeria's leading coach at the 2021 Motherland Awards. In 2018, she was selected by the US government as one of Africa's most promising young leaders and a Mandela Washington Fellow. In 2019, she was listed as one of 100 most inspiring Nigerian women and named one of 50 most inspiring women in 2022 by Business Day and ABCD Africa's 50 most impactful voices in 2023. DDK, as she is fondly called, is an author of 25 books to date and has spoken in 3 continents and to emerging leaders, teams of multinational corporations, global development practitioners, SME owners, and thousands of purpose-driven people. Ladies and gentlemen, would you in the comments with joy welcome with us together our founder and CEO and lead coach at Immerse Coaching Company, Debola Deji Kumari. Chat is quiet. Please welcome DDK. Good morning, DDK.
Good morning. Quite excited to be here. Thank you, Faye, for always just, getting the energy right and making our experiences very beautiful. And it was a joy to hear from our DGM this morning, sort of going through some of the testimonials that, come through all the time with the work that we do. I'm delighted to be here, and I feel like it's such a personal moment for me. I didn't know I was coming up so quickly. I was still, in a lot of the emotions, but today is a beautiful day. It's a special opportunity again to remember, honor, celebrate the life of Mo Balogun, who we always will remember as, a burst of sunshine, a bundle of inspiration, and just a breathtaking, extraordinary young woman. I feel like one of the most inspiring things about Mo Balogun was how she had a magnetic force that always pulled people in. Her love, her heart, her compassion, always pulled people in. And I think about those of you who are on the call with us today and those who are streaming from YouTube. And it's still that same, let me say, electromagnetic force that just creates a field of love, of filiality, of inspiration, which was the thing about Mo. She was the center point. She was the rallying point of friends and communities. She was also the center point and the rallying point of ideas and very inspiring experiences. So it's a posthumous birthday celebration today for Mo Balogun. And every year since 2020, we have held, fashion-inspired events, both in person and virtual versions. We've also held awards, and we actually have some of the recipients of previous awards at the event with us today. We also have family and friends of Mo Balogun with us in the room, as well as streaming on YouTube. And we just want to honor you for being part of the journey to continue to remember her and to honor the legacy that she's left with us. And what is Mo Balogun's legacy? Every time that we get into a MOBALO event, I feel like it's always a special opportunity to talk about the person, to talk about the woman that we get a chance to celebrate before we get on into the business of fashion, which is in itself something that was so special, so extraordinary in the mind of Mo Balogun. So who was this young woman and why does her legacy matter? And I'm just going to highlight 3 because, I feel like these are 3 very significant parts of our legacy that I carry such a firm hope that many more young women, I dare say many more people, will be willing to embody, because these are, powerful ethos that can shape nation building, shape family, shape communities, shape relationships, and even shape businesses. The first big thing about Mo Balogun was her heart. Momo had a good heart. She had a beautiful heart. She was a loyal friend, a passionate steward, a committed daughter. She was a beautiful spirit. It was a heart. She had a heart without guile. I know that we are in a generation that is very driven by the desire for accomplishment, which is such a great thing. I know that we're in a generation that is driven by the desire for success and, actualization. So there is a lot of drive toward goal achievement, visionary success, there's something that is called like pursuing your hustle. And there are many young people who now toe the path, right, of execution, which is a great thing, and which is still something that I get a chance to talk about. But I feel like the foundation to be laid for any life that would unlock greatness, fulfill their purpose, and really please God, be representatives of the right values in their own generation is the heart. You have to keep an uncorrupted heart. You have to keep, and that's why I really can't even separate my coaching work from my spirituality, because at the very center, at the very core of the human spirit is a godlike heart. And everything around you, would work hard to take that away from you. And you have to be intentional to preserve your heart. Your heart impacts on everything else. It impacts on your character. It impacts on your relationships. It impacts on your creativity. There are people who want to be creative and execute their goals, but they have a heart that is cluttered with offense, with anger, frustrations, irritations. And that is, they don't know that these things truly impact on their ability to pursue their goals. So you may be thinking, hey, can we get onto fashion already? But I'm telling you that keeping a positive, pure heart has an impact even on your creativity, on your vision, and the ability to execute your goals. Right? And I want you to do something for me. If you can make a practice of it in my own short session, you're going to be able to do it all through today. Please go along with me in the chats and use the comments to let me know some of the thoughts that are resonating the most and some of the insights that you're going to take away from here. So thank you to Luani. Thank you, Kende. Thank you, Immerse, for starting us on that journey. We've got over 100 people with us in-house beyond those who are with us on YouTube. So 100%, you can use the chats excellently this precious day. So that uncorrupted heart is powerful because there's a quote I heard, or I read many, many years ago, and it changed my life. I think I must have been 18 years at the time. And it said, the heart is the production center of a person's life. If you don't like what you see in your life, check your heart. The heart is the production center of a person's life. So if you don't like what you see in your life, check your heart. I think that's really profound. And that's a legacy that stands out when I think about the woman, Mo Balogun. That's the first big thing on that side. The second thing is what many people pursue but often miss out on the first. The second thing about Mo Balogun is visionary excellence. I don't think till date I have met a young person, right? Maybe not just even a young person. I don't think I have met many people who stewarded their genius with intention. Mo Balogun was an extremely intentional person. She was visionary. She was excellent. She became so important to my work, my ministry, my life because of just that extraordinary ability for, productive living, productive thinking, productive decision making. She was my Miss Fix-It, my project associate. She was my many things wrapped in one, my sounding board. She was just so intentional, so visionary, so excellent at everything. I don't know if we talk about it a lot, but Mo Balogun said to herself that I have listened to Maria Folio for many years. I'm so inspired by her. And she said, I'm going to get on Maria Folio. I'm going to be interviewed by her. And I was like, how's that going to happen? She said it's going to happen virtually. It's going to happen digitally. The world is now, such a global village, and I'm going to make it happen. And shortly before she passed, she actually made it happen, right? She got into that interview with Maria Folio, and it made her so joyful. And she just modeled the power of vision. In the time we were together, every single thing I wanted to work on, she was one of the persons I would talk to first. And she'd be like, Diddy, we're doing it. 100%, there's nothing stopping us. And then after she passed, I discovered that what I thought was happening with only me was happening with many people. And I even wonder how she had all of us and loved all of us, and everybody felt like they were the only ones in her world. Everyone came out and started to say, if I ever had an idea and I didn't want to work on it, I would not tell Mo Balogun, because she's going to hound you down. She's going to give you the needed inspiration, the resources, the encouragement to make sure that you actually executed on it. So we have a legacy of vision, a legacy of excellence, a legacy of intentional living from this young woman who has, left this earth realm, but continues to be a big inspiration to all of us. The third thing I would love to highlight about Mo Balogun was her passion for the fashion industry. And that is why we really believe at Immerse Coaching Company that we have this special assignment that Mo gave us to continue to contribute in our own way to early stage fashion enthusiasts, fashion innovators, fashion entrepreneurs. And that is why it's the part of her legacy that we're holding on to, and we want to continue to perpetuate as a business. Mo carried such a great passion and a great conviction that the fashion industry in Africa was going to be a significant contributor to her economic prosperity. She was a fashion enthusiast herself. She was a fantastic dresser, put herself together excellently all the time. And she did it so effortlessly. I remember that many times when I'm commending her on a color theme or how she's combined outfits, she would just be like, oh, I didn't even think it was anything, special, anything extra. And from when she was in the university at Obafemi Awolowo University, which, by the way, is the only university in Nigeria, I had to just put that in. She held a fashion conference where at the time, way back, she actually brought Mai Atafo, who is still such a leader and a frontliner in the fashion industry. And we hope that this set of masterclasses for you today will contribute immensely to the work that you want to do and the contributions you want to make to Africa's fashion industry. So why fashion? For those of you who are in that space, my closest connection with fashion is just that I love to look good. I don't fully understand the industry. Of course, I've become fascinated in the course of the last 4 years of hosting this series of awards, masterclasses, events, and convening for fashion entrepreneurs. But why fashion? A few things stand out in my mind, and that is what is going to shape the next 7 minutes of my talk with you this morning, that I think makes the fashion industry a compelling space to explore, especially for those of you who feel really called to do great work there. The first thing that fashion is one of those spaces of human and social interactions that will always be with us. The thing that we know about Africa is that even though a lot of its style has been, stolen, what we reckon is that very anchored within the African heritage is actually our unique styles, our extreme dimensions of creativity, glitz, and glamour when it comes to fashion. So fashion is anchored within human in social engagement. It pulls people together. It gives you a sense of identity. It's a fundamental part of any cultural heritage, and it offers outlets of expression to the human soul. So fashion is precious. Fashion, to me, is almost like food, and it feels like it's something that is so second nature to humans. And those of you who are called to play in that space, whether at just the beginning of your vision, or maybe you're many years in and already have established a venture around that vision, I believe that you are interacting with something that is so dear to humanity, and you will always, always have people to serve. The markets will always be available because fashion is so intuitive, second nature, and integrated to our human experiences and social interactions. Secondly, fashion is, as an industry especially, is experiencing such disruption, such radical innovations today, that you can actually ride the waves of the trends, the waves of the times that we live in, to be able to contribute significant value and multiply opportunities in the space. And that is why in the course of the masterclasses today, I believe that our mentors are going to invite you on a journey to rethink how you do business, to rethink how you approach your work with fashion. And I know that the fashion industry is a massive spectrum of multiple players. There are those who are in fashion law. There are those who are in the artificial intelligence space. There are those who are, in the core design. There are those who are in the bespoke space. There are those who are advocates for sustainable fashion. There are those who leverage technology. There are those who create ecosystems. There are those who provide education and consulting. There are those who are in fashion policy, on and on and on. And we hope in the coming years that the MOBALO Fashion Hub can actually pull in multiple players across multiple spectrums. What we've also done is to open up on YouTube previous masterclasses. I feel like what we had last year was truly exceptional, Damilola, because we got the opportunity to pull in mentors and speakers across the spectrum of the fashion industry, and beyond being a designer or someone who could curate outfits. The conversations got a lot richer, and we've provided those resources on YouTube. I'm sure that the links will be made available to you in the coming days for you to just be able to interact even more with those resources. So fashion is on a wavelength today that can unlock significant innovation and empower you to make valuable contributions to Africa's economic development. At number 3, why fashion? I believe that fashion is going to become a tool to amplify the right values. Allow me to throw this in because, well, I still have 3 minutes on the podium. I carry a current great dimension of burden for the nudity oddity. It's what I've called the nudity oddity, and it's so misaligned from who we are, especially as Africans. There is a lot of bralessness going on, a lot of cleavages everywhere. And I do not believe that as a people, this is really what we intend to hand to the next generation. We have really young children looking at grown men, looking at grown women who are misrepresenting our culture, our heritage, and even our spiritual values because of their passion for fashion, which I feel in many cases is often misdirected. So fashion entrepreneurs, fashion innovators, fashion advocates can take this opportunity of the work that they do within the space to correct the nudity oddity. Can be intentional about using fashion as a vehicle for amplifying the right values and protecting both our cultural heritage as well as our spiritual value system. I believe that you are on to such a great and phenomenal experience today. Our mentors are ready to deliver value and be happy to provide you even supporting resources right after today's masterclass. Before I step off the podium, allow me to thank my team, led by the extraordinary Ngozi Divine Basil, as well as Coach Olabisi Obayomi, for the great work that they do. I also thank every single team member for always putting in the work for us to achieve an excellent outing with the MOBALO project. Allow me to also specially thank our project manager who partners with us on the work, a fashion industry frontliner herself, Damilola Ademilokun, who is the founder of Obsidian Advisory. I believe that in the course of the event as well, Damilola's firm will get an opportunity to talk to you about the forthcoming Fashion Career Fair that Obsidian Advisory is hosting. And I believe that those who are already in the space will benefit greatly from this fair and conference. Thank you so much for your time, and I wish you an excellent convening at this epoch-making event. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ma. That was wonderful. And it truly is a life of impact and a life of legacy that we are celebrating here today. Like I already said, we are very, very honored to carry on this fashion legacy and to carry on the life that Mo lived while she was here with us. Thank you for that charge. It was impactful and it was very timely. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, on that note, I am excited to welcome the beautiful Damilola Ademiloku, who is the project manager for the MOBALO Fashion Masterclass. She's going to be talking to us about the Fashion Masterclass and what we're about to go into. And of course, she'll talk a little bit about Obsidian Advisory as well. So, Lady Damilola Ademiloku, good morning. Welcome. And you look wonderful, by the way.
Good morning, everyone. It's an honor to be here, and it's such a privilege to be a part of this initiative by Immerse. It's been great working on this project for a couple of years now. I would just dive right in. So the purpose of this masterclass, really, the fashion industry in Nigeria is like a powerhouse. And it's our collective responsibility to nurture and harness the potential. So this masterclass is not necessarily like a traditional learning method that we usually witness in the fashion industry. So we're not talking about cutting and sewing. We're actually going to focus on the needs of fashion business owners, how to be structured and how to design relevant and unique products that are, like Didike has said, promote the true values and culture of we as Nigerians and believers, if I'm allowed to chip that in, or people with great moral values. So we have two speakers who would, thank you so much, everyone. We have two speakers who would be sharing with us, and they both have unique expertise within the fashion industry. We have Rhoda Agunigo. She would be speaking with us and sharing with us on structuring your business and putting the necessary tools or adopting the necessary tools, to put a proper structure in your fashion business, which is something most fashion business owners struggle with, and most fashion business owners struggle with. And this limits many of them. Permit me to say, majority of which are women, from accessing funds, accessing support, and this automatically makes it a huge conversation to have. And that's why we can't wait to have our, dissect and provide us with as many information, tools, and necessary skill set that we need, that we can adopt, easy, basic, and putting those tools in your business consistently positions you to accessing easy collaborations, loans, grants, and and many more opportunities. And then the second person, Deji Astrop II, he would be speaking on leveraging digital tools, just like Morademo, as paraphrased by Didike herself, always said, the world is becoming a global village, and fashion will become like a currency, will become like a unique mode of transacting and communicating. The borders within the continent are being shattered. People are wearing clothes. People are wearing clothes from different cultures and different tribes, and it's not limiting, it's now breaking the barriers of, international trade. So it's important for business owners to understand how to actually position themselves online, globally, digitally, because that's the easiest way for you to access new markets, easiest way for you to reach new audience. And for most businesses who are yet to communicate their brand's vision, aesthetics, I trust that Deji would also do justice to that to help us see how we can actually communicate through fashion, through our brands, through our platforms, important values, sustainability, integrity, and environmental issues. You can become a social entrepreneur through your platform while you're profitable. Your brand can become so much more. And that's what we trust Deji would be sharing acts on for us. And as for me, being mentored by DDK has been such a journey for me as well. And having shared some of my ideas with Moradion, which led to the birth of Obsidian Advisory, which is an HR company that caters to the fashion industry and creatives. The industry is an ecosystem. So when I say creatives, fashion businesses need photographers, videographers, name them content creators. So it's not a standalone industry. It's an ecosystem that depends on many other creative sub-industries. And it's a delight that she mentioned it. And I do look forward to inviting you all to be a part of the upcoming job fair. Funny enough, we just got a partnership with Jobberman and MasterCard Foundation, which would empower us even much more reach a larger audience to be a part of the job fair. So if you're creative, if you're a business owner, you're having issues recruiting staffs, you're having issues putting a structure in your HR processes, you do not want to miss out. Thank you so much. You do not want to miss out on this creative job fair. And I would just leave my invitation open. Our Instagram handle is there for you to have more details. I would not like to take attention away from the purpose of today's meeting, but I'm obviously available online to interact and make inquiries. If you have recruitment needs for your company, we're your go-to person for fashion business owners at the core of our business solutions, as well as other creatives. Without much further ado, I would like to invite the first speaker. But before I do that, I'd like to ask from Coach Faye, can I go ahead to read the bio? If that's okay, Coach Faye. All right, thank you. All right. Amazingly, Rhoda is also a dear friend of our beloved Morado. I'm sure she's going to mention that in the conversation. Rhoda is a fashion consultant and project manager with interest in business and social development. She's the founder of Lord Africa, an institution that creates opportunity for emerging fashion entrepreneurs and startups in Africa. The core of Lord's work is fashion education, community support, mentorship, business development, and digital innovation. As a business consultant and teacher, Rhoda works with fashion entrepreneurs, teaching them how to launch their businesses, achieve their brand goals, hit the ground running. And she also consults for local and international agencies, one of which I'd like to mention is the Creative Hub by CC Hub. And she also helps them to connect and grow roots in the creative industry in Africa. She currently sits on the advisory committee of the United Nations Conscious Fashion Lifestyle Network. And it's an honor, Rhoda, to have you be a part of this project with us, and we can't wait to learn and hear from you. So I hope everyone is ready for this session. Please, I would like to use the word immerse. Immerse yourself in as much information that will be shared today. Thank you, everyone. Welcome, Rhoda.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dami. Thank you, everyone. Good morning. I just want to get confirmations that everyone can hear me. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. I am so delighted to be here this morning. I'm just grinning and laughing and smiling because this is such an honor and a pleasure. Because, like Dami said, I remember so many years ago, I think it was in 2016. I was on OAU campus, and I remember that then I was trying to get into the fashion industry. I had, had a background in tailoring. I wanted to be a designer, but I realized that there were other parts of the industry. So I thought about being a stylist. I was doing that. But then I realized that, there were so many of like young people around me in school and outside of school at that time, who were also struggling in their career. And I thought that it would be good to create a platform to bring everyone together. And I remember I'd spoken to someone who was like a big sister of mine at that time. And she was like, oh, do you know Morado? You should speak to her. She's also on campus. And I remember reaching out to Morado, and she was so welcoming. And I remember when I was having a conversation with Dami, I said that the reason why Loud exists today was because Morado was one of the first set of people that I spoke to about Loud. And she was like, go for it. You should do it. You should start it. And I remember then she was having an edition of her program on campus. And, she had given me an opportunity to sort of intern and just shadow and work with her. So it's such a pleasure to be here. I don't know if I'll be doing Loud today if, I'd spoken to the wrong person, or if she had not sort of given me that assurance that, what I wanted to do made a lot of sense, because at the time that we started Loud, there was nothing like it and it didn't really make any sense. So I'm so thankful. I'd like to share my screen. I tried to do that earlier. Okay, I can do it now. Thank you. Okay. All right. So just to do a bit of background, I know that Dami has introduced me. Right now, outside of running Loud, my foundation or my core is fashion business. So I do a lot of fashion business consulting, working with fashion businesses, helping them to achieve their goals, from brand building, scaling, structuring, operations. And I'm really excited to be delivering this masterclass this morning. Thank you so much to the entire team at Immerse, Inner Circle, and the amazing DK for putting this together and bringing all of us together. So just to start, I'd like to sort of know the people that I'm speaking to. I always like my workshops and masterclasses to be very interactive, because I know it's business. It can be a lot of words, and your head can start aching you. So I always want us to have fun and learn while we do this session. So I want to see a bit of introduction. So just your name. If you run a business, the name of your business and what you do. So for example, Rhoda, fashion education, Loud Africa, so I just want to see a bit of introduction so that I can know, the kind of businesses that we are interacting with this morning. So I'll be looking up for the chat, so we can just do that quickly. Your name, the kind of the niche you play in the fashion industry, and the name of your business. Okay, I'm waiting and looking at the chat section. Okay, great. Fashion stylist, amazing. Hi, Owen. Ankara, nice. Corporate and casual wears, fashion designing, clothing brand educator. I love that. Fashion designer, tailor, fashion stylist, fashion designer, ready to wear, fashion designer. Amazing, amazing. Let's keep the introductions coming. Fashion stylist, illustrationist, that's nice. Fashion design, good. Ready to wear, amazing. Amazing, amazing. Pattern drafter, amazing. See, the fashion industry is there's so many, so wide. There's so many spaces to play in the fashion industry, and I just love reading, getting feedback from everyone, and different things that they do. Bridal stylist, fashion designer. Great, amazing. Okay, thank you, everyone. So now I know the kind of people that I'm talking to, and I feel like I've seen a bit of names. So it's nice to meet everyone. So let's just go right into the masterclass. So today we're going to be learning about, establishing fundamental structures to support your fashion business and conceptualizing unique products. And we're going to start with, fundamental structures. And interestingly, this is one of the topics that I find myself teaching a lot. I usually call it business foundations, because one thing I've realized about the fashion industry and a lot of fashion businesses in this part of the world is because we are very creative people, and because the fashion industry can sort of be termed as an informal industry. A lot of times we start our businesses or get into the industry without necessarily paying a lot of attention to the foundations. It's more about, how many of you if you went to learn tailoring here, you can just do a show of hands. When you said that, oh, I want to do fashion, your parents are like, okay, there's one tailor shop down the road. That's the shop you will go to. And you got to learn your tailoring there, right? We all did. Even me, I did. That's where you got to learn your tailoring. You learn your tailoring, finish, you do your freedom. Okay, I've started business. We'll open shop for you. So a lot of times we get into the fashion industry or we start our business, we just learn the craft and we just start the business, or we open a shop, or you start to create designs. Or for some people that you didn't learn tailor, you buy a machine exactly and you start sewing. Or for some people that didn't learn tailoring, if you're a stylist, it's just you learn the craft and we jump into it. And that is good, but a lot of times you cannot scale with that. And that's why, within a period of 5 years, a lot of fashion businesses die because the foundational structures were not implemented. And a fashion business is just as much as it's just a business as any other business. And it requires, the same amount of intensity, the same amount of structure, the same amount of foundation that any other business needs. But because it's very creative, and like everybody has said here, it can be seen as a skill, but fashion is more than a skill. It's more than tailoring, it's more than styling. If you are going to run a business, you can say, okay, I don't want to run a business, I just want to be a talent. So you want to work with other businesses. But if you're going to run a business, it is more than a skill. It is a business. And there are business requirements. There are things that you need to put in place. There are business foundations that you must learn and put in place, just like any other business. So today we're going to be, going through the introduction. I'm going to talk about business planning and strategy, operational setup, financial management, human resources, technology and e-commerce integration. We're also going to talk about understanding trends and consumer preferences, creativity and design process, prototyping and testing, branding and storytelling. It sounds like a lot, but I promise you, I'm going to try my best to make it as interesting and interactive as possible. So please bear with me. My mouse is just going and going and going. We're going at the heart of every thriving fashion business lies a well-organized framework. And this was what I was saying earlier, that, here in this part of the world, a lot of times when we start our fashion businesses, we don't necessarily see it as a business. It's usually more like a skill. And then sometimes, family members will come and say, okay, you like tailoring, Abby. I have this wedding, can you help me do this? And then you put something together and it works. Sometimes they don't even pay you, or they just pay for the material, or they just give you pay for the material, or the tiny things. But at the heart of every thriving fashion enterprise, when you look around the world today, one of the richest men in the world today, owns a fashion conglomerate. That's the LVMH. At the heart of every fashion business, and even when we bring it back home, when you think of thriving businesses like the Maya Tafos and Co, when you go back and you sit with them, you see that there is a well-organized framework that encompasses every aspect of the business. And sometimes the way you start your business, the framework that you set in place for your business, will determine if that business will succeed or will fail. Just like when you're building a house, when you're building a house, they will put the foundation. And then you see that the first set of things they put is the framework. You see the pillars, you see all of those things that they put, because those are the things that ensure that the house stands. So if you're building a fashion business and there is no framework, there is no foundation, there are no pillars, how is it going to stand? So the foundational structures that you put in your business, it provides stability, clarity, long-term direction, because again, running a business can be a lot. There are a lot of challenges that will come as you grow. There are a lot of transitions that will happen. There are a lot of things that you will have to deal with. But one of the things that makes it easy to deal with the challenges and to welcome opportunities is the framework that you put in place. Even sometimes, I work in the fashion industry, and by virtue of, the area that I play in now as a catalyst and somewhat a thought leader, I find myself in rooms where certain opportunities, are being deliberated. Recently, I found myself in a room where ecosystem discussions are happening between tech, the creative industry, so tech, fashion, and likes. And a lot of times when it comes to fashion, there are always conversation around, the fashion industry is not ready to receive the opportunities that is coming to it. And when I look at it, it's because a lot of fashion businesses don't have the framework that is needed to welcome these opportunities or to run with these opportunities. The same thing when you have challenges. If you don't have certain frameworks in place, your business starts to struggle, and that's how that business goes. Also another thing is, once you put your business structure in place and you put your business foundation, it ensures long-term success. It does not necessarily mean that everything will be easy or everything will be simple, or because you've put your business structure, then it will be a walk in the park. But it ensures long-term success, because even when you're putting your business framework together, one thing you're seeing is the longevity of the business. This business is going to go on for this number of years. So it ensures long-term success. You're not just doing it. You're not just a one-time wonder. It's not just I released this collection and it sold, you made money. And now where's the money? We don't know. What is the next thing? We don't know. How can the people that are bought from you right now, how can they continue? There's nothing. There's no framework. So I'm saying all of this for us to understand the importance, of putting a framework, having a business structure, having a business foundation, and seeing your business as a business. A lot of times when I have this session, I always tell people here, I know that you're creative, but in today's session, I want you to put your creativity aside a bit. We're here as businessmen and women. Maybe when we come to the other part, talking about unique designs, we can bring back our creativity, but let's move on. Okay. So the first thing, that we're going to talk about is, your business planning and strategy. Your business planning and strategy. So like I said, a fashion business is just like any other business. It's just like any other business. Because it's a technical business, because it's a skill, because it's a talent, because it's a gift, does not mean that it's not a business. And just like any other business, when you want to start, it is very important to have a business plan. Let's do a survey. Let's do a survey today. If you have a business plan, a working business plan, can I see a show of hands? If you don't have one, nobody's judging you. That's why we're here. We're here to learn, right? But if you have a working business plan, can I see a show of hands? Okay, one. I can see one person. A working business plan. Very few of us have that. Very few of us have that. And these are the things that are very important. Every business, there are two things I always say. The first thing, you do your business model canvas, and then you have your business plan. So for your business to grow and become successful, you must have a well-defined business plan. And what your business plan does is it talks about the business, what the business is about, the values you're going to be offering. If it's product-based, if it's service-based, it talks about, your unique offering. What is your USP? Who is your audience? It talks about your projections. So what your business plan does is it's a roadmap. It outlines your goals, your strategies, and the paths that you plan to achieve. So in your business plan, you put your projections. You put, in the next couple of years, this is what we're going to do. All of these things in your business plan, you have to sit down and think about it. This thing that I want to build, what kind of people do I need to work with? What team do I need to build? That is what the business plan and the business model canvas does for you. I love the business model canvas. When you do the business model canvas, you would rack your head. There's so many questions you need to answer. One of the first questions you need to answer when you're working with your business model canvas is your value. I am a creative. I love when women look good. I love making people look good. And that is a good thing. But if I'm going to start a business, what is the unique value offering? This business that I'm creating, what value do I want this business to give? What is my value offering? That's one of the questions you need to ask yourself. And sometimes, we see it we look at it from a very generic perspective. I'm making clothes for people now. That's my value. That's not bad. But again, there are a lot of people making clothes for people. So one of the important questions you need to answer, in your business and in your business, both in your business plan and your business model canvas is, what is the value offering of this organization? I don't know if anybody wants to try. We've done introductions, so I'd like to see, what is I can see some questions. Cynthia, don't worry, just keep those questions. I will take them, at the end of the session. So I just again, we're learning here. There's no right or wrong answer. But for people who have introduced your business, what is your unique value offering? what does your business offer right now? You know, according to what you know, what is that thing that you're offering to people or serving or giving to people? I just want to see some answers, you know. Let's just see, you know, where we are, what we think it is. So for example, it can be, oh, you know, I saw that as a plus size person, there was no market for plus size women. You know, a lot of the things that were in the market were not stylish. They were not tailored to fit the African woman. And, you know, this is a problem that I've seen in the industry. And this is something that I want to solve. This is the value that I'm bringing. So a lot of times your value offering is usually the problem you're solving. Your value offering is usually the problem you're solving. So for example, in my case, you know, I looked around and I realized that there were a lot of emerging startup brands, but when it comes to fashion education, we didn't really have great schools, or, you know, in terms of, especially around business. I think we were quite good at technical education, but when it comes to business, when it comes to mentorship, when it comes to community, we didn't really have that. And that was a huge gap in the fashion industry. And that was why I started Loud. Okay, I can see value offering, good fabric sourcing. Okay, so does that mean that you run a fabric retail brand? You know, what problem are you solving? That's one question you need to ask yourself with your business. I realized that most females that work in the corporate world like to wear outfits that are unique. So I create my own designs and I make them. Okay, so you create corporate outfits. And, you know, let me just give you guys a tip. You know that the corporate space, especially in Nigeria, is still very much untapped. We don't have a lot of fashion brands yet that's homegrown, indigenous, local brands that have filled up that space. And that is a huge market that is, you know, waiting for somebody to take it. And I mean, I've been saying this, that is a huge market, because I mean, the working class is growing. And now in the past, I remember when I was younger, you know, if you go to work, you want to buy Turkey outfits or, you know, all of these Italian outfits. But now a lot of people are looking home. Okay, where can I shop for corporate outfits that I can wear to work? So if you're here and you have a brand that, you know, you think that corporate thing is what you want to do, please go for it, refine it. And I think that, you know, anyone who is able to really, you know, create and design products that fit that market. And when I say fit, it means the price fits, the design fits, and it's very functional. Oh my goodness, you will do well. You know, so again, like I said, what is your value offering? That's one of the questions you need to answer in your business model. Another question you need to answer in your business model is, you know, who am I creating this product for? So, I mean, like I'll just stick to using the example of the plus size. So, okay, I know that, you know, I've seen a gap in the plus size industry. Who am I creating it for? I'm creating it for plus size women who are, you know, in their 20s to 40s, want to look very stylish. They want to look good when they go to work, when they go to church. You know, they want to feel comfortable. They want to feel authentic. You know, they want to stand out. This is the age range. They are working class women or business owners. You need to identify your audience. You need to identify your audience. So the first thing I said was what value, you know, which is what problem are you solving? The second thing I said is, now that you know the problem you're solving, this problem you're solving, who are you solving it for? Who are the people that you're solving this problem for? You know, so you need to identify your audience. Who are the people that I want to sell to? I mean, some of us, and this is another thing that comes with just starting. You start your brand, you're doing a bespoke, but you want to sell to everybody. You want to sell to, you know, your mommy's friend. You want to sell to your friend. And now the problem is the design that your mommy's friend wants is different from the design that your friends want. The cost that your mommy's friend will pay is different from the cost that your friends will pay. So sometimes your business is that way. Sometimes it's down. Sometimes you're just going all over the place because you've not identified who your audience is. So you must clearly identify. And now, because it's a business, there are times that you will sell outside of your audience range. Definitely. But when you have an audience range, it helps you define a whole lot of other things in your business, from your product, from your branding, from your communication. Once you identify the audience that you want to serve. So for example, the lady that said that, you know, she wants to do corporate pieces. If you identify that, you know what my audience is, the audience I want to serve are majorly, you know, corporate women who work in bank, in oil and gas, you know, in corporate spaces. It would define a lot of things. When you design your products, you would design products that fit the lifestyle of those women. So for example, if you say, I'm going to be designing products for women that work in the corporate space, you know that you cannot be designing a dress that, has a long tail, or, it has a lot of shows. Someone who is going to work or probably has a meeting with her MD and she wears that and comes into the office and the boss is just like, what are you wearing? So defining your audience determines a whole lot of things in your business, your products, even your marketing, your communication, because there is a way that you would speak, there is a way that you will present your brand that will look appealing to people who work in the corporate space. There's a way that you will present your brand that will look appealing to the audience that you want to serve it to. So it is very important, once you've identified your value, it's very important to also identify the audience that you want to serve. And now this session that we're having is for everyone. If you're just starting or if you started already, it's never too late to actually just go back, take a break, and ask yourself these important questions. Okay, I started this business some years ago and we've not done bad, by the grace of God. But now if I'm going to go to the next level, these are important questions that I need to answer. These are important questions that I need to answer. So, what is my value? What is the audience that I want to serve? How do I want to serve them? That's channels. That's another thing in the business model, your business model canvas, channels. What are the channels that I'm going to use to serve my audience? All of these things are things that your business, model canvas answers. And
Alrighty, can you hear us? Okay, she has dropped off. All right.
okay, I'm back.
Are you good now?
Yes, I am. Okay, I think my network just kicked me. Let me share my screen again.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, found it. Okay, so like I was saying, your business model canvas is internal. It's where, it's a document you sit with as an organizer inside and you say, okay, this is how the business is going to work. This is who I'm serving. These are the channels. While your business plan, your business offering, how the business works, the value points, how much you're going to make, your projections, and this is a document that you then share with investors or people that you want to sort of bring on board into the business, or you want to sort of show them what the business is about. So let's move on. So, your business plan clarifies your vision, provides a structured framework for decision making. It's a tool that attracts investors, secures loan, keeps your team aligned. It highlights your unique value proposition and how you will navigate challenges in the competitive landscape. And I think I said this already. So, components of your business plan, it should contain an executive summary, which is sort of like an overview of your business goals and the strategies, your company description, which is what your business is about. And that was what we spoken about earlier in terms of the value that the business is going to offer. It should include market analysis. This is another thing that I really like to talk about, market analysis and running a business that is data driven. Also, a lot of times, a lot of us here, if I ask another question, how many of us, when you wanted to start your business, you did research? How many of us did research when we wanted to start our business? I'm sure very few of us did. Even me, when I was starting, I did not do research. Okay, I did a bit of research, but not in-depth research. This is another thing that we miss a lot. And you see, research and data is so important. I cannot overemphasize it. It is so important. It is so important. You have a business idea and it sounds so good. It sounds so perfect. Oh, I'm going to make clothes, for 100 women. I'm going to sell those clothes in 1 week. I'm going to make this money. It's all good in your head. But data never lies. Research is very important. For every time in your business, if you want to launch a new product, if you want to do something, it's always Very important. You can use Google. You go on Google, ask questions, or, okay, you want to launch a new product. You can put in, so for example, you say, oh, there's this unique Ankara kimono or tie, and then go and do research about things around that already. Also do research about, the metrics in your industry. How much is this industry worth? Normally they'll say, oh, Nigeria, there's over 200 million people. So, it's a good market. But for your kind of business, you need to do research. How many people can actually purchase the products that I want to make, especially when you've identified the kind of brand that you want to do. For example, you say, oh, I want to do a premium brand. My own brand is premium, sort of slowly, slightly luxury, but not necessarily high-end luxury. And then you say, oh, because I want to do a premium brand. And then you go and produce, maybe 100 pieces or 200 pieces without actually doing research to find out, how many people can I sell this products to? Where can I find these people? Research and market analysis is very, very important. You must assess your industry. You must assess the industry. You cannot just go with, whatever, oh, the fashion industry is very right. Great. But for the niche that you want to play in, for the products that you want to offer, for this, level of scalability and sustainability that you want your business to hit, how will the industry receive it? Where is the industry right now? Who are the people that are playing in similar spaces that as I am, locally, Pan-African, and then globally? These are important research that you need to do. Oh, I want to run a ready-to-wear brand, or I currently run a ready-to-wear brand and I want to scale my business. Or what are the current ready-to-wear brands in Nigeria that are, doing amazing and they're hitting certain numbers? In Africa, what are the top ready-to-wear brands and in what countries do they exist? And then what countries in Africa can I scale my business to? Globally, what are the biggest ready-to-wear brands? It's very important to do research, because you will find out things that will serve as guidelines as you build your product, as you do your marketing. Very important. So you must assess your industry, assess your competitors, and assess your target market. Like I said earlier, and this is also another thing, this is a place that I say a lot of businesses miss it, which is assessing your target market. So for example, for every target market, there is something that works and there are things that do not work. So I'm going to use two illustrations. You start a brand and you say, oh, you know what, I'm starting a ready-to-wear brand. I want my brand to be comfortable, easy, almost like resort-like, where, fits the weather that we have here, very casual and, easy to work with. I'm creating for young women in their 20s and in their 30s, super stylish women, and all of that, who are middle level, early stage, middle level, in their careers or in their businesses. Great. But then you release your product and your products are priced at 50,000 naira, 70,000 naira, 80,000 naira, 90,000 naira. And then you say, why is this business not working? Because you've not assessed your target market. Because young women who are in their 20s or 30s, who are in early stage career levels or business levels, would not spend 50,000 naira. Or I don't know if there's anybody here that will spend 50,000 naira on a simple, easy, resort, comfortable wear, because they want to buy a lot of that. So all of these things, a lot of times I find out that, when it comes to assessing our target market, there are usually gaps. You're creating products that, they do not fit into the needs of your target market. Sometimes it's either your design does not fit what your target market wants. It's either your branding and presentation, your storytelling does not fit what your target market wants, or your pricing does not fit what your target market wants. And that's why it's important that, in your business structure and your business foundation, after you've answered the question of the value that you want to offer, you need to answer the question of the audience you want to serve. Once you know the audience that you want to serve, you must design your product. Again, I will say it. You must design your product to fit the target market that you want to serve. You don't identify your target market and you put it in one place, and then you design your product in another place, and then you try to merge the two of them in sales, and you say sales are not working. It will not work, because your product was not designed to fit your target market. If you've identified your target market, then that should influence your product design process. And that's why a very important stage in product design is research. A lot of times we just say, it's summer 2023. I want to release a new collection. I've been feeling so inspired by the colors and all of these things, good stuff. but you must do research. Okay, summer 2023, I have these lovely ideas for new prints, and I just feel like women are going to look so good in it. But then I need to go and do research. Oh, what's the current economic condition? Okay, how can I design my products in a way that it's functional? It fits the current needs of the women that I want to serve. Okay, because of, right now there's a bit of economic, uncertainties. People want to shop and look good, but at the same time, they are very conscious about how much they're spending. So I'm going to design my products in a way that it will be bright, it will be colorful, but it will still be functional. So if you buy one piece, you can wear it in different ways. So they feel like they're making a good investment. These are the things that you find when you do research. So research is a very important part of your product design, whether you're even a stylist, when you're creating your packages, or, I want to do in this season, I just feel like, a lot of women, it's summer season, kids are home, I feel like in this season, a lot of moms would have time to sort of do like wardrobe revamp and all of that. So I'm going to design a product for them. You must tailor it. You must do market research so that it fits your target market, because that is one gap that I've seen. That's one problem I've seen a lot of businesses have, and that's why they struggle to scale. You design products that are not fit for your target market, and sometimes it's in the design, the functionality of the design. Sometimes it's in the pricing of the design. Sometimes it's in the branding of the design. So that's a market analysis. Also in your business plan, you talk about your products and services. We've spoken about that. You talk about your marketing and sales strategy, your management, your team, how you want all of that to work. These are the things that should be, in your business plan. Also in your business plan, you put your financial projections. I want to ask another question. When you started your business, everybody here, I wish you could take polls. How much did you start your business with? Can you remember the exact amount that you put in as an initial capital into your business? And did you have, a projection that in the next 1 year, I am putting 50,000 naira. This is how much I hope I look to make from this business in the next 1 year. Did any one of us have that? Or even right now, currently, as you started the business this year, did you have, either a turnover revenue from last year, or turnover profit rather from last year that came into the business as capital, or, new inflow of capital? Did you identify an amount of money that was put into your business? And at the end of the year, how much do you plan to make from the business? If there's anyone here that had that, can we raise up our hand? I'm sure that for a lot of us, sometimes we just doing it. We're just, okay, this is how much I have. You even put your own personal money, and that is even a completely different conversation, because a business where, your personal finances and the business finances are not separated cannot scale. It cannot scale. A lot of times, if you cannot separate, your personal money from your business money, even if you were going to put your personal money into the business, you must identify it as a capital, as some sort of funding, personal funding. And when you do your business projections, you have to say, okay, this is how much I'm putting into this business, and this is the current valuation of this amount that I'm putting into this business. And at the end of the year, when I make this amount of profits, this is what maybe this 100,000 naira that I'm putting now will be worth. And then I can probably take that out at the end of the year. But a lot of times we, put our personal money into the business, and when the business makes money, because we feel like, oh, my money is there now, we also spend the money on ourselves. And that's why, some of us, when we can't look at our business books, and we can't even, it's hard to put it together, because it's a mix of personal money, business money, everything is mixed together. All of these things are things that you need to start to eliminate now if you want your business to grow and scale. If you want your business to grow and scale, your financial, your business finances must be separate from your personal finances. You must have your financial projections. You must clearly highlight, your initial capital, highlight, what your possible profits will be. You must clearly highlight your revenue streams. These are all very important things that you must, highlight and, clearly state when you run your business, or as you run your business. I'd also like to just know, how many of us here are in year 1 of our business, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5? Let's just do a quick, survey. I just want to also know where we are, year 1, year 2, Year 3, year 1, okay, I can see year 2, year 1, year 2, year 3, okay, year 1, okay, year 1. I can see a lot of year 1, year 1, year 1. So, I mean, all of these things. So it's not too late. We're right on track. Year 2, great, year 3. I mean, if you're still within the first 3 years of your business, you're right on track to, take all of these things and, run with them and implement them. Year 5, oh, that's great. So again, just to do a run through of the things that I've said, for your business foundation. Number 1, identify your value. What value is this business going to give? What audience do I want to serve? What do I want to give to them? The industry is large. The fashion industry is so large. It's so large. There's ready to wear, there's children wear, there's bespoke wear, there's bridal wear, there's styling, there's accessories, there are different other services. There's consulting. There's so many different parts in the fashion industry. So the first thing you need to identify is, okay, yes, I have a passion for the fashion industry. I'm stylish. I love this. I can create. I can sew great stuff. But then in all of that, where do I want to pitch my tent? What niche do I want to focus on? Identify that. Now I've identified my niche. The next thing, who are the people that, this niche that I'm focusing on would serve? What audience do I want to serve? And in what categories? I want to serve plus size women. I want to serve mothers. I want to serve, young women. I want to serve men. And that's even another industry that, I've given us one industry the first time. Just corporate space. Please take these things. These are like industry. These are places in the industry where I call them wealth wells. If you can position your business well, there's a large audience to serve. One is the corporate space, especially for women. Another space in the fashion industry when it comes to clothing that is largely untapped is menswear. It's menswear. So while, men's agbada and all of that is popular, when it comes to men's casual and semi-corporate wear, that place is still largely untapped. And even because of the way, work, the way work is done has changed, a lot of men are looking to, it's not every time they want to wear suits or they want to wear agbada. And I'm sure we see it already. You see a lot of men wearing more 2 pieces, more casual outfits. They're semi-casual, they look good, somewhat like resort wears. That's also an industry that, we haven't really tapped yet in Nigeria. It's still large, it's a largely untapped space. And the good thing about it is that if you're able to tap it, you will sell not only to a Nigerian market, but to an African market, because that space is not yet fully tapped in Africa, not just in Nigeria. We have quite a number of women's, comfort wear, resort wear, some of the biggest, ready-to-wear brands in Nigeria here, and even in Africa. If you check what they do is around women comfort wear and all of that. But for men, it's still largely untapped because, a lot of people still do agbadas, and that is good. But there's that industry that, we haven't fully tapped yet. Should I give you another largely untapped space in the clothing industry? There's another one too that is largely untapped in the clothing industry. In fact, as far as I know, there are only 2 people that have, there are more than 2 people, but there are like 2 people that I know that are sort of giants in that industry. Can anyone guess? It's in the clothing industry. I said men, I said women. What's the third one? Let me see if anyone will get it. I'm just looking. Yes. Oh my goodness. I love you guys so much. Children's wear. See, that is also, there was a shift that happened in the fashion industry in Nigeria a couple of years ago. I remember about 5 years ago, this hashtag started to trend, which is buy Nigerian, made in Nigeria. Before then, even the middle class, everybody sort of looked to, Turkey, China, I don't know if when we're small, if anyone can relate, when it's Christmas time, your mom will take you to a co-market, you go and buy, dresses, all of these outfits. That was, what the fashion climate was like. But about 5 years ago, a shift started to happen where a bigger consciousness around wear Nigerian, buy Nigerian started to happen. And a lot more ready-to-wear brands, indigenous brands started to emerge. And slowly a mindset shift started to happen in the minds of, a lot of educated Nigerians. And we moved from, buying foreign, wearing foreign, to also now paying attention to the brands that we have locally here. And that's why there's been such a boom in the fashion industry in the last 5 years. Even during COVID, the fashion industry was still doing well. So, I mean, now we're doing a lot of made in Nigerian. I mean, if I asked all of, I mean, if we do a survey here, a lot of us, I'm sure a lot of your outfits that you wear are made in Nigerian. You know, I mean, I'm wearing a black dress. It's not even, this is not Ankara, it's not anything, but it's made in Nigeria. It's made in Nigeria, rather. It was a Nigerian designer that made, because everybody's tilted. You know, before, when we want to wear formal wears, when we want to wear things that are a bit like formal or cotton, things that are not Ankara, we always, you know, felt like we have to import or buy from other brands. But there's been a mindset shift. And a lot of people are looking like, okay, everybody's now, okay, Nigerian brands are actually doing well. Oh, the quality is great. Oh, we can buy. So the women's industry is being tapped. And of course, there's still opportunity there. Same thing with the men's industry. Agbada & Co is good. But, you know, when it comes to men casual wears, nobody has really entered that space well enough yet. There's still a lot of opportunities for fashion brands to, you know, enter that space. And then another one is children's wear. We don't have a lot of, you know, Nigerian owned, Nigerian made, standard, excellent children's wear brands. We have just a few. We have just a few. And really there is that huge gap that, you know, people are just waiting for people to take. And even the buying patterns, the top patterns of people are changing. So a lot more millennials are becoming parents. And millennials and, you know, the younger generation are the people who are really championing, you know, originality, you know, buying homegrown brands, homegrown goods. So, I mean, people are looking to buy from their own. So that's another industry there. If you do children's wear, you need to begin to ask yourself, how can I position myself and position my brand as a leader in this space? How can I improve my excellence, ensure that I build good structures and expand my production and ensure that my products are functional for the market? Very important questions that you need to ask, you know. So yes, moving on. So like we said, so in the business plan, you have your financial projections, funding. I hope we're learning, you know, from this. I really hope that we are. I know that I'm doing business plan and then I'm sharing gaps in the industry, but I hope that we're learning and, you know, you're picking things, because again, like I said, I really want this, it's conversational. I don't want to come and just read all of these business things, you know, to you. So, I mean, that's it. So in your business plan highlights everything, how your business works, from your value to, you know, how the business is going to work, your financial projections. If you need funding, you know, even your funding requests. A lot of times I meet people and they say, oh, you know, when it's hard to raise money for a fashion business, is in the real sense, it's not really hard. What is just lacking is that structure, because I have conversations with people who are investors, who are funders, banks, all of this, and they always say the same thing. You know, when we look into the business, we don't see the structure. I mean, everybody can see the potential in the creative industry. The creative industry is literally one of the industry that is going to revolutionize, you know, Africa when it comes to, you know, it's going to have such an impact, economic and social impact. Nobody can deny it. I mean, we see what's happening with music, what's happening with tech. The creative industry is so revolutionary. And then everybody's looking to fashion to say, you know, what is coming from fashion? Not because they don't see the role that fashion plays or they don't see the numbers that we can pull. I mean, the fashion industry in Nigeria is what, billions. You know, the last time I read the survey, it was $4 billion, but it's actually more than that, I'm sure. It's what, billions. But when it comes to the structure, that is where the hesitation comes. A lot of times when I speak to investors or people, is, you know, we don't doubt that this industry is worth this. We don't doubt that you guys can pull the numbers that you pull. But a lot of times when we look into the businesses, the framework is missing. And that's why this business plan thing that we're talking about is really important. It can be a lot of hard work, whether you're in year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, whatever level you are. It's not too late to sit down and ask yourself and do a review. And the truth is, as your business grows, you have to go back to your business plan and, you know, okay, what do I need to upgrade? What is working? You know, what is not working? So I already shared, you know, what should be in your business plan. Let's just look at it again quickly so that, you know, you can have, you know what you're working with. So you need to, what should be in your business plan? Your executive summary. I don't know, okay, your executive summary, your business description, you know, your market analysis, your product and services, your marketing and sales strategy, your organization and management. And even if your business is in year 1, there's some of the things that you might not have completely highlighted, but you need to think of your business as, this big thing that I am building. Even if you're just starting from a corner and you're doing your business plan, you need to ask yourself that in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, where is this business going to be? So even when you're filling in your business plan, things like your marketing and sales strategy, think big. So you can say, from the start, we're going to be relying heavily on social media marketing. But as we grow, we plan to include influencer marketing, don't just think that, okay, I don't really have much. I'm just starting, this is the corner that I am. No, think big and include that thinking in your business plan. Same thing with organization and management. When you're putting in your team and your structure, it's fine to say, because this business is in its initial stage, we're going to be starting with a team strength of 2. But we project that in the next 5 years, when we move to our showroom, we would then need to hire the following roles. You put the roles that you think. So even in your business plan, when you put your business plan together, don't just, put a business plan like, it's just a small, tiny business in a corner. I believe that we're building businesses that would last. We're building businesses that would, fit global standard. So even in your business plan, regardless of wherever it is that you are right now, put it in your business plan. Put it in the things that you want there. I remember a couple of years ago, when I started Loud, sometimes I just sit back and I think and I say to myself, what was I even thinking when I wrote those things? And I write, Loud Nigeria, Loud Ghana, Loud South Africa, Loud this. It was always there from the beginning. So now, as out of last year, we started to function more in a global space where we'd have programs and then I'll see sign-ups from Ghana, Uganda, Somalia, South Africa. I'm like, it was in the plan. I knew we were getting here. And now in the coming years, we would start to have we'll start to have installations and programs and things in New York, in Paris, and in different parts of the world. And I'm not going to be shocked because it was in the plan. It was in the plan all along. So even right now, even if your business is 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, this is not necessarily, what I'm saying right now is not necessarily, business structure, but it's a very important part as you build. Think big. It would also help you, resist mediocrity. Because that this business, I'm taking it somewhere. I've seen what my Atafo is doing with this business, and I know that I can do the same. I've seen what Tongoro Studio is doing. A brand that came from, a small East African country is now serving, a global audience. Oh, I've seen what, Diola Sego is doing has done with her brand. I know that I can do the same. I've seen what, Rough and Tumble is doing with the brand. I know that I can do the same. So even in your business plan, ensure that, as you're writing it, you're thinking, you're looking at the business and looking at it in its fullest potential, not just in the tiny, not just, okay, I'm just a tailor, I'm starting a tailoring service and all of that, I just wanted to add that. So again, executive summary, company description, market analysis, your products and services, what do you want to sell, put in your marketing and sales strategy, your organization and management, do your financial projection, your income projection. Income projection is, how much do I think this business will make, how much do I think this business will make in 1 year? How much do I think this business will make in 2 years? And when you're doing your income projection, I should say, it's not by wishful thinking. You don't do income projections by just saying that, okay, by the time I do this business, okay, I think that I will make 5 million in 1 year. No, your income projection must be driven by data. Remember what I said earlier about market analysis and data, so that even when you do your financial projection, your business growth projection, it should be backed up by data. So, okay, I'm in the next, how many clothing can I sell in a month? Oh, I sell my ready-to-wear pieces. I do a lot of 2 pieces. I sell them for between 15K and 18K. And in a month, I feel like with where I am right now, I sell like 5 pieces a month, because I'm just starting. So that's 5 pieces. Oh, in a year, 5, that's about 60 pieces. So if I can do 60 pieces right now, I envision that by the next year, by the time I double up on my marketing, I'll be able to scale that 5 and backed up by research, looking at, how the fashion industry is growing. I'll be able to sell, I'll be able to scale that up to selling 30 pieces in the next year. And then you calculate. So that's how you do your income projection. You don't just do these things by, okay, Lord, is in my heart, I feel like making 10 million. So you put it there, but you don't have data to back it up. You don't have strategy to back it up. I'm sure a lot of us do that. Let's stop doing that. So it's not bad to have financial goals, but when you have financial goals, then you go back and look at the data. What have I done, with my little resources? Where can I add more resources to double up or triple my outputs and my products? And then what is my industry saying right now? What are the potentials in my industry? You add all of that together, let your work always be data-driven. Let your business be data-driven. Okay, so let's run. So now I've spoken about the business plan. Do we sort of have an idea of the importance of a business plan and how to put it together, because it would really help your business structure. Let me just get a couple of feedback before we start talking about operations. Do we understand, the importance of business plan and how to put it together? Anybody? I just want to see feedback to know that, I've not confused us, and, we understand it. Okay, good. Thank you, Beauty. Thank you. Okay. And even after this, you can always just go back and sit down and, work with it and put it together. So the next thing is, another thing you need to really pay attention to is your operational setup. So you've put together your business plan and, you sort of have an idea of how this business is going to work, how much you're going to make, the value you want to offer, the people you want to sell to. For people that you've had your business for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, you already have a bit of data, so like how it works to an extent, and you're just looking to scale it up and put the right structure behind it. The next thing is your operational setup. How will your business work? How does your business work? That's even a question you need to ask yourself right now. That the way I'm doing this business right now, what does my operation look like? What does my operation look like right now? We don't really have a lot of time. It would have been great to just hear somebody speak. What does your operation look like right now? Some of us, I'm sure a lot of us, we don't have business. We don't have an operational plan. We don't have an operational structure. You just get a DM or somebody calls you. You don't even have a company. There's no way that, people can interact with your company apart from your personal, number and personal line. Even if where you are right now, WhatsApp has done such a great job that you can have a WhatsApp business account on one, you can have your personal business and your WhatsApp business account on one phone. Again, remember what I said about business finances. It's not just your business finances, even your business operations, you must separate it from yourself. You must separate it from yourself. So when we talk about business operations, when people, how does your business work? How does it work? Some of us, somebody just calls and say, I want to make a dress, so I have a wedding, Okay, no problem now. Send me your clothes now. We make it. You make the clothes. Okay, I've sent it to. It's just anyhow. We just go with the flow. And the truth is, again, we're talking about operation, assuming that we've done our business structure. Your operational setup is very important. For any business that will grow and scale, you must have an operating system. I'll take that again. For any business that will grow and scale, you must have an operating system, a standard operating system. A standard operating system. And this is what you have your guidelines. This is how we do this. This is how we do that. And I'm going to give a personal example, because I like for us to be real. So, I run Loud, and Loud has a couple of what I call it subsidiaries, or things that are under it, and one of that is a digital agency. And I remember that when we started the digital agency, it's for fashion, it's for creative businesses. It just started and it was doing well, we're doing okay, but at some point we hit a peak where we started to get a lot of retainership and all of that, and that business started to struggle, because I realized that because we had not put in a structured operating system, it was hard to maintain excellence on all levels. My team were getting overworked, and it was just hard to deliver value. And that is what the lack of operating system would do. And because of that, that business struggled to scale. But we had a good moment to scale. But because we didn't have a standard operating system, we were not prepared for growth. So that business struggled to scale. So even if you're in your year one, even if you're in year two, whatever, you must have a standard operating system. And how do you design your operating system? You need to answer some questions. Number one question is, what are my key activities? So for your business, what are your key activities? Meaning, what are the things that you do day to day in that business? Or what are the things, and this is how I divided it here. If you look at the screen, you can see yearly, 6 months, quarterly, monthly, weekly, and daily. I hope you can all see my screen. Your operational system needs to be divided into this. In a year, what should our operations look like? What are the things that like this business will do normally? So for example, if you're a fashion designer, of course, you're making clothes all year long, but it's not just making clothes, you're making clothes, you're doing marketing. And even for some of us, that's why we struggle to do other things. I've heard people say, oh, I'm just on the machine, I'm tired. I want to do social media, I want us to do our social media, I want us to do our branding. But because you've not created a system that makes that business work and makes the different sectors and key activities work, it's hard to, let go of one or remove yourself from one. So you need to first of all sit down and say, okay, in an entire year, what are the key things that this business will do in a year? So if we use, a fashion business, you of course make clothes, you do your marketing, you do sales, you do distribution. If there are other things you want to include, you can include it. You do content. All of these things are, and then you say, okay, in a year, these are the important things that we will do. So we'll do our product development, your key activities for a fashion business. Product development, which is for layman, is when you design your products. You do production and manufacturing, which is after designing, that's when you start to sew and put together. You will do your marketing and sales, which is selling your product, marketing your product. You do logistics and distribution. Okay, you've sold, how it will be distributed. If you're on that level, you do quality assurance, all of these things. Okay, in a year, these are the things that we need to do. Every 6 months, what do we need to do? In a year, there are also other things that are regulatory. So for example, or maybe in a year, we need to do our tax filing, we need to do our bank, registration, we need to do our financial project, all of these things, all the key activities in that business, you alight it. Then you break it down. So every 6 months, what must we do every 6 months for this business to work? Then you break it down. Every 3 months, in a quarter, what are the key things that must happen in this business? In a quarter, what are the key things that must happen? Every month, what are the key things that must happen in this business for this business to run? And then every week, what are the key things? There's some things that you will do monthly that you will not do weekly. There's some things that you will do yearly that you will not do monthly. So for example, yearly, you will do your tax filing, you will do your financial, your books, but you might not do that. You won't do your tax filing every month, right? So again, when you align all the key activities yearly, as it starts to go down, it reduces. Every month you will pay salary if you have staff. You won't pay them salary every week. So you must align your key activities in that business. You break it down yearly, half every 6 months, quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily, and then you align it. I have an operational template that I usually share with the businesses that I work with. Maybe if I'm able to send that across, I would share with you. Every month, what do you need to do? Every week, what do I need to do? Every day, what do I need to do? I liked it. And then what is the process for doing this thing? What is the process for doing this thing? So if you're a fashion designer, is it that every Mondays, that is when you do your pattern drafting? You don't sew on Mondays. These are things that you can actually implement. Because sometimes the reason why we're overworked is we're doing everything at the same time. We don't have a structure. We pattern draft, we cut, we join, we sew, and there's just 2 of you on the team. But you can create a system that works where you say, every Monday, we're just doing designing, we're doing pattern drafting. All our cutting and joining for all the products we need to put out there would happen every Wednesdays and Thursdays. On Fridays are just for order fulfillment, which is when we do like our packaging for the orders we have, we send them out. You need to create an operational process. You don't just do things as it comes. In the first couple of months, you can just rough it to see the key things that you need to do. But at some point, you take a break and you look at it. Okay, these are the things that I need to do. This is how I'm going to put it in. Trust me, this would help you as a business owner because you will take off a lot of load. The days that, so for example, I am a founder at Loud. I am a business consultant. There are days in a week that I schedule to do my consulting work. There are days that I'm not really doing a lot of founder work. I'm just working with my clients. And then the other days in the week, I know that I'm focusing on work, on my team and the work that we're doing aloud. There's a structure, and it cuts across everything. So you need to create, a structure. My time is running up, so I need to run. Also you need to ask yourself questions. Okay, am I doing, do I need a physical store? What's the setup? What setup do I want to do? If you already have a setup, what's the structure for the setup? Okay, I don't have a physical store. I'm an online person. So what days do you post online? All of these things, it's tiny details that talks about how your business runs. You must have it highlighted, and not just highlighted in your brain, but documented. The reason why you must have it documented is as your team expands, it's easy to share those documents, do orientation with the team, and they can, continue. And that's how you build work culture, company culture. And even when you're not there to do some things, your tailor already know that on Friday, we don't used to join clothes, we just cut. That is the importance of your operational structure. Just some other things to just also add to that would be your, supply chain management. How do you manage your supply chain? That's from you getting your raw materials. Do you have a structure for that? Inventory control. How do you manage the products and the goods that you have? Do you have a structure for that? Your procurement strategies. How do you get the things that you use for your business? Do you have a structure for that? You must clearly align all of these things. These are the things that would help your business grow. Other key areas, I talked about this earlier, financial management. I've touched on this earlier, so I'm not going to go into it so much anymore. But even you need to ask yourself a question: how am I managing my business finances? Am I going to do it by myself? Am I going to get an accountant? Or am I going to use apps and all of these things? Is my business money separate from my own money, or are they together? If they are together, for everybody on this call, repent. Don't do that anymore. And I know that you might say, oh, I'm just starting, I don't have this. But from the beginning, you can remove your business money. And like I said, even when you put your own money, write it down somewhere. Oh, I put 5,000 naira into the business at this time to do this thing. So this business is owing me 5,000 naira. So when you make money, if you take more than 5,000 naira, you know what? You know that you are stealing from the business. But a lot of times when we don't have, we do everything anyhow. You feel like, oh, I put money. So even when money comes, you take everything. And then you're like, oh, we're not making money. So from the start, you need to start to remove yourself. If you don't have a bank account, and you feel like, oh, I've not registered my business, I can't open a bank account yet. Have a separate personal account then that, business money goes into. And then pay yourself a salary. These are things that makes it easy for you to remove yourself, from your business finances. Then next in human resources, what thing do I need right now? And again, another thing I always say to people, when you start your business, please, even if you made one money somewhere, you have a lot of money, do not waste your money on hiring a lot of people. For every business owner here, you must always ask yourself, how can we deliver value in the most effective way? The most effective and efficient way. The most effective and efficient way that the business is managing costs as much as possible, but we're delivering value at the highest level. Cash flow is important in your business. When you have money, that's not the time to spend money. You have money, you say, okay, I'm going to hire a social media manager. I'm going to hire 2 more tailors. I plan that, we're going to make 100 clothes. No, you need to constantly ask yourself, how can we manage our cash flow? So even when it comes to your human capital, how many roles can you outsource? How many things can you use technology for? Thank God for technology. There's so many apps and so many things that you can use that you don't have to employ anybody. You don't have to employ an accountant. There's so many invoicing apps that you can use, and they help you with your business invoice. At the end of the month, they show you like how much you issued in invoices. Even with your human resource and all of these things, okay, what apps can I use? What platforms can I use? So ensure that as you run your business, you are constantly asking yourself, what is the most cost efficient and effective way to run this business? How do I deliver the highest value, at the most efficient cost possible? Okay, so let's quickly move on to the second bit, which is conceptualizing unique products. But before we do that, let me just get feedback on
So
okay.
I'm a bit pained that we've exhausted the time allotted,
Okay.
but I think that we can quickly take questions.
Okay.
So we'll probably have to find a way to, okay, you know what? I think I would ask Coach Ray. Coach Ray, please, what do you advise? Rhoda is yet to, share with us what she wants to, the other part of our presentation. Do we proceed or do we just take on questions right now?
Let's do 5 more minutes. Rhoda, if you can run through the rest of your presentation.
I'll try my best. I promise.
We would have to slash the time for questions for you, but let's do 5 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I'm so sorry, everyone. I'm literally trying to run, but again, I just want us to learn as much as possible. Okay. So now on conceptualizing unique products, because the fashion industry is quite wide and, is wide, but at the same time, it's almost, really small. I'm sure from the research that just from the survey that we did here, I could see a lot of fashion designer, ready to wear, bespoke, all of that. So how do you create unique products? How do you create a product that is unique and stands you out from the market? I just highlighted some things here that would help you create a unique product. Number 1 is research trends. Like I said earlier, don't just do your business based on your intuition or vibes or your creative process. Research, what are the current trending designs? What are people buying now? Because of the weather, because of economic conditions, people's mindset, psychology, all of these things are things that affect, the way people buy or, consume fashion. So research trends, and researching trends is not only researching trending style. Oh, boo-boo is raining right now. Let me go and make my boo-boo. No, research trends also means researching, okay, how are people thinking right now? What are the weather conditions right now? Is that affecting how people are buying or, the kind of designs people are leaning towards? The economic condition right now, is that affecting people's mentality? All of these things are trends. Trends are not just design, because again, at the end of the day, you're building an entire product. And product design goes beyond you're not just designing a clothes. There are a lot of factors that, affect whether people purchase a clothes or not. And one thing that will make you innovative and stand out as a designer or a brand is when you design from that holistic perspective, not just based on what, people are buying or, what you see everywhere. Second thing is be innovative. Don't just follow the flock. And like I said, I touched on this earlier, because, everybody's doing, this style does not mean that you have to do the same. And even if you're leaning towards that style, you need to ask yourself, how can I put a bit of myself in that style? If you feel like, okay, because, everybody's leaning towards comfort, casual wear, and because you do ready to wear, you of course want to do something that is functional and people are willing to buy. You need to then ask yourself that, okay, yeah, I'm going to, in terms of my product framework, it will be around, what people already want. But then how can I be innovative with it? What, extra can I put in it? And sometimes innovation does not only have to be in design. Innovation can be in functionality. So for example, there are brands that, they say, oh, what they're making is just as simple as any other person, but they tell you that the fabrics that they are making their products with are breathable. So all of these things, innovation is not just in design making. Like I said, it can be in functionality, how the product will be used, or how the products here will be used. These are things that, you need to think about. Third thing, understand trends and your customer preference. I think I've touched on this already, so I'm not going to go again. The fourth thing, define your aesthetic. And this is really important for everybody here. Everyone has been made unique. Everybody, four people can look at one thing and see 4 different things. We all have different aesthetics. They are different. We all carry different, our essence is different. You can be very similar, but your essence is different. And as a business owner, you always communicate this essence in your brand. So even when you're designing your products, you need to define your aesthetic, for who you are and the kind of brand that you're building. What is your aesthetic? Is it clean? Is it chic? Is it simple? Is it dramatic? Whatever it is, define your aesthetic and ensure that every single one of your products carries that aesthetic. When we look at global luxury brand, if you see an LVMH, you will know that it's an LVMH. If you see a Chanel, you know that it's a Chanel. If you see a Fendi, you know it's a Fendi, because they all have different aesthetics. In the Villa Sensibility, if you check it, it might just be the same shirt. But while certain brands will be, if you see a Celine bag, it will be very, simple, very clean, very minimalist, and then you see a Fendi bag, it will be very dramatic. with a lot of bold prints. So define your aesthetic. These are the things that would help you, stand out. And this is not just for fashion designers, for everybody. Whether you're a stylist, you're doing textile design, there is always an essence that makes you you and makes your brand what it is. Find it and ensure that you always convey it in every product that you design and that you put out there. Outline your creative process. How do you create? What's your creative process like from start to finish? The sixth thing, leverage branding and telling stories. This is also important. A lot of people, again, this generation, when I say this generation, I'm meaning millennial, Gen Zs, they're not just looking to consume products. They're looking to consume stories. What is your story? What is behind this brand? What is the brand story? What is the brand purpose? They want to hear it. So as you build your brands and, create your products, ensure that there's a story behind it, that there's something, there's something that is being conveyed, as you create that product, and that with everybody that purchases that product, they are buying a part of that story. They're buying a part of your branding, and then lastly, detailing, so this has to do with your prototyping, your production, and your manufacturing. This is also another thing. The details in the products that you design also matter. And again, this is not just for fashion design. Even when you're creating services, there's a way that you create your services that they are unique offerings. The way it's conveyed, it shows that there's a certain attention that has been paid, that was paid, when designing this service for whatever it's designed for. Same thing with fashion design or shoe wear or footwear. Whenever you're making, always let there be a detailing in your production. For some people, some brands, it's their clean finishing. The design may be ugly, but the finishing would always be clean. It would always be clean. So your detailing is important. And this is one thing that I feel like a lot of emerging brands and even, Nigerian brands miss. And I think it has that tiny thing to do with mediocrity, where we just do things anyhow, and then we feel like it works. Ensure that you pay attention to details. Pay attention to details. Every time your brand shows up, ensure that your brand is showing up excellently. Even if it's just one simple boo-boo that you're sending somewhere, ensure that everything, the seaming is nice, the way it's the finishing, the inside, we're not seeing thread coming out, or, ensure that your detailing, you pay attention to detailing. All of these things, if you put all of these things together and you design products, it would always help your products stand out. When it comes to, designing unique products, it doesn't always mean that what you're designing is what has never been seen before. No, it's really about, the essence, the uniqueness, the excellence, the detailing that product conveys, and the story behind that product. That's really what makes unique products, and that's why there will always be a difference between, a Coke and a Pepsi. There will always be a difference between an iPhone and an Android. In the real sense of it, at the end of the day, what these products do are quite similar, but it's in the detailing. These products have different detailings, different brand stories, different prototyping, and that's what makes them unique. So I think I will round up there. I hope that, again, that we learned something. I'm happy to take questions. I know we're going to take questions soon, but also because I know that, you might have questions and we're not able to cover everything. You can always send me a mail. My email is on the screen, or send me a DM. And I think that I will just leave it there. I work with fashion businesses, so you can always send me a mail, and I'll be glad to answer some questions, or Thank you, Dami. I hope that I didn't take too much time.
For wrapping it up so quickly. So I think we can take one question, and we would then ask that everyone kindly submit their questions. If you have questions that you'd prefer answered, please write them down, and then we would collect these questions and ask Rhoda to provide answers to them, and do our best to make sure that the answers are accessible to everyone. I think I would just go to the chat and
random questions that have come through. But first of all, would you mind reposting where people can find you in the chat? A couple of people ask for one-on-one consultations. A couple of people.
Yes, I have one-on-one conversations. Okay, I'm trying to look for. Okay, found it.
So what we can also do is that everyone should kindly look out for a post-event email, and we would provide more updates as to how you can reach any of the speakers should you need their services for your businesses. So Rhoda, do you want to put it on the screen, or you are?
Okay, just let me share my screen again. Okay. So yes, so you can always send me a mail, rhoda@loudfashionnetwork.com, on Instagram @rhoda. I can always just, take any questions, consultations, any, and I'm glad to also just, answer questions as a spin-off from this session via email.
Thank you very much, Rhoda. Okay, so there's a lot of questions that have come through.
Can I take the ones that came through before?
Yes, please.
All right. The very first question that came through was, what happens to those of us who just sold in our homes and have not been able to expand our business? I think this person was talking from when Rhoda was talking about a business plan.
Okay. So again, I think that the first, what I would say to that is, what is your vision for that business? In the real sense, if you hear the stories of the biggest brands or biggest businesses, they all started from their homes. So starting from your home is not, a limitation. The question is, what is your plan for that business? I remember what I said earlier, that, a business plan does not mean you have everything perfected. It's okay, you saw from your home, but what is the plan for you? What is the vision that you see? Do you want to build a brand? Or do you just want to, work as a tailor and, build that as a career and, just always, expand that into a production space for brands? So I think that's going to be my answer. Like, what exactly do you want from, what you're building? If you want to build a business, then there's nothing wrong with starting from, your home. Just start to clearly highlight, okay, who do I want to serve? How do I want to serve them? Where would I serve them? All of these things. Trust me, some of the biggest brands you even see, even on Instagram today, a lot of them still operate from their homes. So.
For that. I'm going to take one more very quickly, please. The question says, I'm working on a fashion tech platform, but it's hard to get data. Are there resources you can recommend or people you think I can speak with?
Okay. So I know that, one thing you need to look out for are like organizations that put out a lot of data. So for example, Fashionomics, they usually have, let me just put them in the chat section. They usually have a lot of research. If you go on their website, you see a lot of research and data that you can work with. So Fashionomics is one that I know in Africa. There's also something called African Fashion Research. So there are organizations that actually work on research papers, and they usually put out papers. I know that the CIAFE, also have a couple of reports and things that they put out. Global Fashion Agenda, BOF. There are a lot of platforms really that work on research, articles, all of these things. And then you can also create original data. That's another thing that I do, where you just create questionnaires. I mean, that's one of the first things I did when we started this session. I wanted to know the kind of people that I was speaking to. So you can create original data, ask people questions, create a questionnaire, and then share it to on your status or in communities that you're on, so there are all of these platforms. I've shared some, and then you can also create original data. Because fashion industry is still sort of emerging, and we're shifting from technical to formal. So there's some things that we're still lacking, and you might have to do a lot more work to get than other industries. But you find something, and then you add your own, create original data.
Really like the tip about creating original data. If failure was not an option, you outside of the ordinary to get what you need to get. Thank you so much. All right, Damla, do you want to wrap up this session and then we can move on to talking about the Popular Elephant Foundation? I don't know if she's there. Or I could just wrap up. Thank you, Rhoda. This was an amazing session. We thank you for the depth of insights and the practicality that you brought to this session. It was wonderful. And we appreciate you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you,
Please
everyone.
say thank you to Rhoda and Jazz. Thank you so much. Yes, this was very great. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the depth of knowledge that you shared with us. And best believe we will be in your DMs. And
I'm glad. I'm glad. And then Loud has a community for fashion entrepreneurs. So it's also like where it's easy for me to just share resources and things. So when you send me messages, anything that is beyond me, I'm sure once you're in the community, you get access to as much as possible.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank
All right.
you.
How's everyone doing? How are you feeling? Let me know in the comments, in the chat. How are you feeling? How has it been so far? Stretch your legs. Feeling enlightened. I like that. Feeling charged, pumped, awesome, motivated. My voice is a therapy. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna take that. I'm going to post it everywhere. Thank you, Latosi. Pumped, excited. Okay, let me see. Amazing, pumped. I like it. My notebook is full. Wealth of knowledge, mind shifted. That's amazing. Okay, feeling excited. YouTube fam not left behind. I'm not into fashion and I've learned a lot already. Yes, I like that the tips and knowledge that Rhoda shared is also applicable in everything, even if it's not fashion. Very enlightened, feeling great. Nice. All right. Okay. We want to take a few minutes to talk a little bit about the Purple Elephant Foundation, the foundation that has been set up in honor of the person who are here today to celebrate Mo Balogun. So I'm going to call up Adekemi Adefisayo of Partnerships and Sponsorships Associate at Immerse Coaching Company to talk to us very quickly about the Purple Elephant Foundation. Adekemi, are you with us? Okay, I see you now. Oh, I'm asking you to unmute for some reason.
Awesome. Good afternoon. It's afternoon already over here. And well done for the fantastic work so far. I have had such an enlightening session myself. Please, if you could share the screen and then I'll take it from there. Awesome. Thank you very much. All right. So for this segment of the session, we'll be sharing a little bit more about the Purple Elephant Foundation, especially for some of us who might just be coming on this program for the first time. So you get a sense of the work that is being done by this foundation and of course how it ties into Mo Balogun's life and journey as well. So we'll take it to the next slide now. The Purple Elephant Foundation, of course, is a legacy of compassion and impact. The foundation was founded on December 2nd, 2020 in honor of Mo Balogun. And of course, for those of us who might not know the story as well, she was a victim of a tragic robbery incident, and most especially because of the delayed health care that was unavailable to her, was also one of the reasons why we lost her. Of course, it was a widely carried story. It caused a lot of uproar because it then again pointed to the failure in the healthcare sector. And the foundation started to tackle situations such as that. And so far, they've been committed to transforming lives through dedicated philanthropy. And we'll see some of that even as we go on through the rest of the presentation. So we can move on to the next slide. At Purple Foundation, the vision is to help others through philanthropic activities. The focus is on diverse initiatives such as hospital bill payment, accident victim support, aiding the underprivileged, and of course, catering to young women who also suffer from a number of ailments. We'll be sharing some of the success stories that the organization has had so far. But most importantly, a big vision is to see that through philanthropy, we can have the community, including, of course, the founders of the Purple Elephant Foundation, come together to also contribute to social good and impact the people around them. We'll move on to the next slide now. These are the major objectives of the organization. Like I shared earlier, the first is to support emergency victims from stab injuries to accidents, gunshot injuries, fatal accidents, especially those who are unable to pay their medical treatment bill. Of course, we've had cases where someone is rushed to the hospital or someone is in an emergency and they are unable to pay, say, an initial deposit. And because of cases like that, you have them turned away. So something that the Purple Elephant Foundation does is step into situations like that to ensure that these people are not denied treatment, they're not denied access to healthcare, and they can, of course, get the support that they need. Another would be to facilitate opportunities for communication, quality improvement initiatives, and exchange of ideas and experiences in healthcare quality, just so that we have more people who have access as well to healthcare. We also have education as one of the objectives of the organization, which is focused on organizing seminars, workshops, lectures, public journals, and other events to contribute towards educating the general public and healthcare practitioners on the practice of first aid treatment, on the reason why we need to make sure that when people are in need of healthcare in cases of emergencies, they have access to it. And they've been doing this for the last 3 years and counting. A final objective of the organization is to partner, support, and collaborate with other existing reputable governmental and non-governmental organizations, and also with individuals who have a similar interest, especially in conversations around providing healthcare to the underprivileged, providing healthcare to people who are in emergencies and probably cannot afford to cater to the bills or to the resources that is needed to see them through that process, in the bid to, of course, further the overall goal, which is to ensure that healthcare is accessible to all. We can move on to the next slide now. This is just to share some of the success stories and some of the impact work that the organization has done so far. And this is titled Restoring Dignity because since 2020, we've had the Purple Elephant Foundation supporting at least 5 patients annually, covering the surgeries, the hospital expenses, even beyond the hospital expenses. We're talking about the transportation cost, the feeding cost, everything that patients who suffer from VVF need to ensure that they have the surgery done and, of course, come out on the other side as a success in the sense of then being able to live normal lives. And for those of us wondering what VVF might be, this happens when we have ladies, most especially young women, who their pelvic floors are not strong enough to carry children, get pregnant. And so because of that, they are no longer able to hold urine. And it's really just a sad case to see. And the Purple Elephant Foundation has catered to that since 2020 with at least 5 patients annually. And that's something that we're really, really proud of. Moving on to the next slide. Also, in line with our first objective, the Purple Elephant Foundation has been actively involved in paying hospital bills for patients with various ailments, addressing the cases of delayed healthcare and medical expenses, amongst other activities. And I just recall speaking to the mother of Mo Balogun, especially around, can we have some more pictures just to showcase the work that has been done. And something she said really touched me in the sense of, it's not really about the pictures. And she said she doesn't see the need why we have to showcase, these are the people we're helping. What's most important is that we're able to get, these services, this support, this care to the people who need them. And truly, we're really proud of the work that the Purple Elephant Foundation has done so far. So just in case you're saying, can we see proof? Can we see pictures? This is a value that they hold there, and we strongly, strongly respect them for that. So we're moving on to the next slide now. Moving forward, these are some of the goals that the Popular Elephant Foundation is committing to, which is commitment to growth and expansion of the initiatives that they've already started, identifying more opportunities to help those in need, especially in the health sector, adapting and improving their outreaches, and actively and aggressively going into partnerships with individuals like yourself and myself and with organizations to ensure citizen protection from the security standpoint, from the standpoint of healthcare, to see that we have people who get the attention that they need when they need them and immediately they need them. And this is the work that has been ongoing for the last 3 years and is also going to be continued moving forward. And that is why I would be encouraging everyone on the call. Next slide, please. We'll be encouraging everyone on the call to join us to make a difference. Of course, you might wonder, why do I have to be a part of this? I'm probably just into the fashion industry. I'm probably just into the fashion space. What's the relationship with healthcare? What's the relationship with security matters? But the truth of it is, at the end of the day, it's an issue that affects everyone. No one ever prayed for what happened to Moradion to happen to her. But if we had organizations, just like we have the Popular Elephant Foundation now, present at that time, active at that time, we probably would have had a different story. And so the call here is that we join in and we support the work that is currently being done to ensure that we have more citizens, we have more people enjoy the benefits of the initiatives that have been put out by the Popular Elephant Foundation. And so you could screenshot this already, make your contributions, make your donations, and beyond monetary support, there's also the room to volunteer and also support them with your resources, be it time, be it skills, be it network, access to some of these organizations that, you know, they could partner with to also get the word out about the work that they do and really expand their reach. And so if you'd like to do that beyond the monetary support, please, next slide. You could head on to these contact details, either via the phone numbers, either via email, or even send a DM on Instagram. And there are people who are available to respond to those messages, respond to those emails, and ensure that you are set up with the people you need to work together with to ensure that this vision is actualized. So we're really proud of the work that Popular Elephant Foundation has done so far. And we encourage everyone on the call to make your support, to make your donations, to make your contribution, and help us make a difference on the long run. We strongly believe that the little drops of water does make the mighty ocean. And so we are counting on you to be one of those drops that come together to make that mighty ocean. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Adekemi. Thank you for that short and quick and succinct introduction to the Popular Elephant Foundation. If you did not get a chance to take a screenshot or copy what was on the screen, it has been posted in the chats, both on Zoom and on YouTube. We are counting on your support to continue to make the great work that this foundation is doing a success. All right, PM Dami, are you ready for the next masterclass?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. I hope we're all still gingered. So the next masterclass is going to be coming up right now. The facilitator's name is Deji Astrop II, and he's an experienced project manager, visual producer and consultant in the Nigerian fashion industry. He has an agency called A Different Design. They provide fashion brands with tools that can help them connect with their target audience through visual and branding and brand strategy. He also runs a talent management agency called Prism, which manages, casts, develops front of camera talent to improve the visual produced by Nigerian fashion brands. So if you need a model or whatever kind of business you run, if you need a garment model, you need a model for your leather goods brand or your footwear brands, or makeup, accessories, whatever kind of front of camera talent that you need, Prism is definitely your plug. But for today, he's going to speak on how to act digital marketing solutions for your fashion business. And I'm delighted to invite DG Astrop to come on board. DG, are you here? Can you put on your camera, please? Okay.
Okay, can everyone hear me now? Okay,
yes.
Perfect. All right. So sorry. I know that we were meant to get like a well-lit background, but I don't know. Today has just been crazy. Hopefully I can make it up to everyone through the presentation, but I'm so excited to be here, and I'm excited to take everyone through this approach to this for fashion startups. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. Let's see. Just give me 1 second, please. Okay. All right. So can everyone see my presentation now?
Yes, we can.
Yes,
okay, perfect. Okay, great. All right. So let's start with just a basic introduction. And it's not really an introduction, it's more like an appreciation for the Immerse Coaching Company for having me on here today. Most of the time, at least in recent times, I've worked with a lot of more mature fashion brands. So these are brands 6, maybe 10, maybe even 20 years into their life cycle. And it's very exciting. The work is amazing. The budgets are bigger. You get to do crazy things. You get to experiment more. But I think there's a lot of value in working with fashion startups because literally you guys are the future of the industry. Whatever you are walking into or whatever trends that you are making are the things that service providers like myself need to be on top of. And I think having the opportunity to engage with you is exciting because it dictates the next big thing for my own service-based industry. So thank you, Immerse, for giving me this platform and allowing me this session with your wonderful community. I hope we should be on session summary right now. Is that the page everyone is seeing?
Yes.
All right, perfect. All right. So basically today's session summary is we're just going to look at how digital marketing can be leveraged by brands in your business, your stage of the business life cycle. For those that are not familiar with the business life cycle, it's basically let me just get this out of the way. So I have a diagram up here, the introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. So just so that people aren't scared, it doesn't necessarily mean that just because you run a business or run a fashion startup, this is exactly how your business is going to go. Some brands, I mean, we see some big fashion brands today and they've never gone through this declining phase. Sometimes they've gone through this declining phase and they go back to a state of growth and they are still staying on a state of growth. I think it just goes to show how business is all about ebbs and flows, and you have to be smart and you have to be adaptive, and that's how you kind of secure success. But I want everyone to kind of like focus on the introduction aspect of the life cycle. These are usually businesses within 1 to 5 years of inception. And the type of things that they are doing is very different from what growth and maturity are doing. Why? Because they are just getting introduced into the space. Not too many people know them. Maybe they don't have a large budget. They are basically dealing with a whole lot of different things that the growth stage and the maturity stage fashion startups are not dealing with. So you'll find that certain examples that I give, certain references I give, they are specific to brands that are within these constraints. All right. All right, so we'll officially kick off now. So that it doesn't feel, by the end of this session, for you to know that you haven't wasted about an hour plus of your life, this is how we'll probably measure success. So by the time we're done, we would have understood the function of marketing, within, a fashion startup like yourself. We'll also understand what the role of digital marketing is, why it is that, there's marketing or traditional marketing, and then digital marketing has kind of come in to change the game. And so that you're not walking away with all this theory and not exactly sure how you're going to apply it within your business, then we'll kind of have a practical application, a mini case study. Then you can pick one or two things there and see how you can map it onto your business. Obviously, within this time period, please feel free to ask me questions. I don't know how the questions are going to be handled this time around. I don't know if you're going to throw it in the chat box, but however it is, I would just say that if it's possible to keep it to the end of each section, and there'll be a clear demarcation of which section at which time is ending. That way, you have the opportunity to accumulate questions. That's one. But two, you might be asking a question that I may end up answering within the example I'm giving, or within part of within the slide that is coming next. So you get to ask the questions that are pertinent to you rather than questions that are more or less like throwaway, because I know we have a limited amount of time here. All right. So I guess this is not so important now, since Dami gave me such an amazing introduction, but I'll kind of run through it from my own point of view. I mean, obviously, I founded a different design. A different design focuses primarily on, marketing strategy and visuals to push that marketing strategy. I launched a different design towards the end of 2020 or maybe early 2021. By this time, I had just gotten out of work with a fashion hub that actually catered to, fashion startups. So I think that's kind of where I got, enchanted with the whole fashion startup space. And when I started the different design, it was born out of my engagements with, these fashion startups while I was working at the hub. I found out that a lot of these fashion startups, they didn't understand how to go about their marketing. They might have a large budget, they might not have a large budget for one reason or the other, but I found out that some ideas they never implemented because they were so fixated on the fact that they didn't have a large budget. And I was like, oh, look, you could get creative with this thing. You can still achieve your goal while on this constrained budget. Whereas some others that had a larger budget, maybe they had saved more, maybe they had gotten some sort of investment for one reason or the other. They didn't know how to leverage that budget as best as possible. So it's like a year down the line, 2 years down the line, you go to their Instagram page and you find out that this brand that launched in 2021, their last post was like February 2022. And this is me looking at them, just checking up on them around maybe like August 2023. It's like, oh, what happened? They had such nice visuals. They had such a good vision or good mission statement. They had something going for them, but for some reason they just couldn't crack it, and now they folded. So I just said to myself, like, look, I don't necessarily want to start a fashion brand, but I know that there's this gap in the market, and I know that these people need this thing. So what can I do? How can I leverage my skills to fill in this gap, to offer this service? And that's kind of how a different design was born. Through a different design,
I'm sorry to cut you and disrupt your flow, but would you mind going into full screen mode?
Okay, let me see if I can do that. I haven't used Zoom in a while.
You can just do full screen mode on your Chrome browser itself. So maximize your Chrome browser.
All right, is this better?
Yeah, we can work with this.
Oh, okay, all right. Sorry, I'm sorry if there are any distractions. Just haven't used Zoom in like the longest time. All right. So yeah, so out of my time at a different design, I realized that, okay, I'm shooting a lot of lookbooks, I'm producing, campaigns as well, but, the whole marketing process, as we talk about it, you see that everything is intertwined and focused. You have to be intentional about every aspect you put together. And one of the things that I noticed that people weren't thinking too clearly about, or the people that were putting in front of camera to sell their items. It's like you want to cater, maybe you want to, start a gym wear brand. But what do? You put like someone that is like very skinny, and this is nothing against skinny people, but the thing about gym wear is you want to get people that are active, right? So people that want to commit to the gym, people that are already in the gym. And most of the time, these people are either a little bit on the curvier plus size side, or even if they're on the slimmer side, you can see that they have an athletic build, because you're trying to sell, you're trying to sell a vision to the prospective customer. And I noticed that, they just put certain models in front of the camera and they push the images out there and they're not selling. It's like, why are they not selling? Because they are not factoring their unique selling point into the models that they're selecting. And then from there, I was like, okay, you know what can I do? A different design is already doing this. I don't want to come across as this person that is like, oh, DG says that he has a solution for this, that, and the other. I want to create a separate entity that is solely focused on approaching this problem. And that's kind of how Prism was born. And for a lot of people that work with me, one of the things that they say, because they notice it, and it's something I'm very intentional about, is the diversity of the models that I have on my board. I try to make sure that, look, we're catering to the African market. A good majority of the African market, especially since I deal with a lot more female-focused brands, they tend to be curvy, plus size, athletic, and that's kind of what I try to keep it diverse. We do have slimmer models as well, because obviously that's part of diversity, ensuring that there's somebody for every category. But I'm just very intentional about that, and that's kind of where the pain point that Prism is trying to tackle. So this is just some of the clients I've worked with or worked for in some capacity. The first is This Is Us. I was a business manager during my time at This Is Us. I also shot this lookbook for them. It was a collaboration between them and Dodos, who some of you might know as an influencer. The middle person is one of my clients, one of the models I represent. She's there working for Lisa Folawio during Lagos Fashion Week. And the final is another client I represent. She's modeling for, I would say, an occasion/bridal wear brand called Imadeduso. Some of you might be familiar with it. And then another example is I recently produced the fashion show at Lagos Leather Fair. So just to give you a rough idea of like the variety of projects that I work on. So even when I'm trying to describe what I do to people, I usually just end up playing it down as though I'm a consultant within the fashion space. But I always joke with my friends and tell them that, look, I've pretty much done everything in fashion short of running my own fashion brand. So if that's an easier way for you to look at it. So yes, we're officially kicking off class today. The first question we want to ask is, what is marketing? And the reason why I try to start from the basics is because whenever we're looking at these very layered or important topics in business, there's this assumption that we already know what it is. We already know everything about it. We might not know some hacks, quote unquote, that may not be getting us to the next level. But I find that a lot of the challenge comes from people not even knowing the core of what it is that they are doing. Now, when they open their eyes to what this thing is, they'll understand that, okay, maybe it's my approach that is actually the problem, not necessarily this hack or this tactic that I'm not using. I was listening because I listen to podcasts. I'm always trying to learn every day. And in one of the podcasts, they had asked the person that was being interviewed that what is the silver bullet to ensuring that your business doesn't crash, or if you're facing a certain problem, what silver bullet have you used to kind of solve this crisis. And he said something that was profound, but when I thought about it, it's true. The problem with a lot of businesses is that they're always looking for that one gem, that one silver bullet, that one crystal, that one golden nugget that is going to solve everything for them. But he said that it's not, there's no silver bullet, it's just a bunch of lead bullets. And for those that don't understand, when you're talking about like, how will I say, myths or like supernatural stuff, there's this whole thing about how silver bullets are like, they kill evil supernatural things. But lead bullets are just like regular bullets, like, the regular bullets that come out of a gun. So what he was trying to say there is that don't fixate on, as an entrepreneur, you do not want to fixate on that thing, that one thing that is going to change the whole game for you, that is going to bring your business out of, from the brink of death. What you want to focus on is, are you pushing your sales? Are you pushing your marketing? Are you ensuring that your team is doing what they need to do? Are you ensuring that you have a conducive environment for your employees? Basically, you need to be attacking things on all fronts, and that is how you run a successful business. Obviously, there are some external factors that you may not have control over, but as far as things that you can do, don't look for that one thing. It's an all-encompassing approach that usually dictates success for businesses, and it's no different for fashion brands. So yes, it's still the same thing for marketing. So marketing, according to The Future, which is it's an online platform that I've been following for the longest time. They have a bunch of content on YouTube that helps a lot of creatives navigate the business space, or at least the business aspect of running their creative enterprise. And they describe marketing as the all-encompassing strategy of promotion and communication a company has with an audience. So that audience being your target audience or your target customer. So just like I was saying before, it's not about that one thing you do. It's not about, oh, I have a pop-up coming up, let's run Instagram ads. It's not about, oh, let's work with this influencer. No, it's about, let's work with this influencer. Let's run ads. Let's post every day. Let's hop on a podcast. Let's write an article. Let's do a blog. Let's go on Pinterest. All these things might not necessarily map onto your brand. It might not work for your brand. So you don't have to do it, because another thing you want to avoid is overstretching yourself. But again, it's the approach you need to understand. You need to ask yourself, am I doing everything within my power to ensure that my business is getting its messaging out there? Or am I just relying on this one thing and saying, okay, this is the master key, this is the game changer? Because really, there is nothing like a game changer. In fact, I'm sure that a lot of you must have gone online at some point in time, and maybe you are watching videos with about your heroes within the industry, or just other people that are famous on the online space. And one thing they consistently say when they ask them is, oh, like, what was that one video, or what was that one dress, or what was that one outfit that changed the game for you? And they're like, no, it's like, oh, we're just consistent, and we didn't know that this thing was going to work out. It just picked up. That's usually how it is. It's usually a surprise. Nobody ever goes into it, at least nobody successful ever goes into it and say, okay, this is the one thing that I'm going to do, and I'm going to hammer, and I'm going to grow from it. So that's the thing you need to keep in mind. So marketing is a consistent and intentional series of actions. And marketing needs to be consistent. Consistency is key. It's not just a slogan that people put out there. It's like the end all and be all of everything. Because I'm sure you've heard things about, oh, when talent doesn't work hard, hard work overcomes, or hard work surpasses. And at the end of the day, that hard work is usually just down to tenacity, just ensuring that you're showing up every single day. Even when you're posting on your Instagram page, it might not be a situation of, okay, on Monday, I'm posting this fire content. On Tuesday, I'm posting this amazing content. No, sometimes it's like Monday's content might just be like 5 out of 10. Tuesday's content might be 8 out of 10. Wednesday's content might be 3 out of 10. But you're not meant to be looking at everything so granularly. You're not meant to be looking at it and so fixated on what is this one thing again. Avoid perfectionism. Look at the bigger picture. Sometimes you can't be 100% of the time. But what most people are going to see is this long running narrative that you're building based off your consistency. And of course, you have to be intentional. Just because you know that some of your posts or some of the marketing actions that you do are just going to be like 5 out of 10, and you know that in the long run it might not matter, doesn't mean that you shouldn't put thought into it. Think about it. Does this serve the purpose I am driving towards? If it doesn't, then don't do it. Sometimes it's better not to do anything than to do something subpar. And when I say things like, oh, your post might be 5 out of 10, or it might be 3 out of 10, or it might be 8 out of 10, I'm not saying that don't put effort into it. What I'm saying is that you might put effort into it and you might just get something like 20 likes, or you might not even get a comment. You might just get like 5 likes, no comment, no save or anything. Like, that's fine. That's fine. Because when you zoom out, in the grand scheme of things, you'll see that, okay, like this served this purpose. It might not have been that big, crazy thing that I was hoping that it would be, but it served this purpose. It laid its bricks so that it could serve as a foundation for this other thing. And most importantly, nobody wants to be sold to. I don't know if you guys have had this experience where maybe you're in a mall and then you're walking, maybe you're going to use the bathroom, maybe you're going to a store, maybe you're even heading out of the mall, and then somebody stops you and like, oh, you know, our store is offering this, buy one, get one free, or we just opened this store type of thing. It's like 9 out of 10 times, you're probably going to choose not to go into that store. Not because you might not need the thing, you might actually even need the thing or want it. You might actually need the thing or want it. But because that person has come to you and basically tried to sell the thing to you, it has kind of turned you off. Now, I don't know what exactly it is. It might be human pride. It might be the stubbornness of, I don't want people telling me what I should do or what I should spend my money on. I want to make that decision by myself. But if you just check your interactions, you find that tends to put people off. That's why one of the hardest jobs is sales, because as human beings, we've just been wired not to buy into most salespeople, because we kind of subconsciously feel that they are trying to rip us off. They are trying to do something that is more beneficial to them than it is to me. But if you have this long-running narrative, consistent, and most importantly, it is centered around a value proposition or a unique selling point, people are going to look at the big picture and they're going to say to themselves like, oh, well, you know, this Deji's brand, you know, he's been ethically focused for a long time. His clothes he's been marketing that his clothes are durable. I've seen pictures from other customers on his page. So, you know, if this is something that I want to get, maybe I want to get an office shirt, or maybe I want to get a casual shirt or something, I might as well get it from Deji, because I mean, out of everybody, he's the one that I've seen as most consistent. His brand must be doing well, and his messaging has pretty much been, you know, consistent over time. So if I'm going to spend money, I might as well spend money on somebody that I feel familiar with. You know, it's marketing is almost like, it's like a conversation. It's like dating, I guess. That's kind of a good, I guess it's kind of like a good parallel for me to draw upon. You know, if somebody meets you today and they're trying to, if somebody meets you today and they want to propose to you, no matter how attractive that person is, it seems weird to you. It's like, why would I want to marry this person? I don't even know this person. That's usually the sentence that is used. But if you've known somebody for a long time, you've seen somebody around, you kind of know what they are like. You probably know where they're from, what you know a fair amount about their family. You know their ambitions. The day the person asks you out, unless for some reason you are like not attracted to the person, as long as the person is, you know, you consider the person okay, and you're in a situation where you are not seeing anybody or you are not linked to anybody, chances are you give the person a chance. And the reason why is you feel comfortable with that person. That might not be what sticks into your mind at that point in time. Your brain might come up with one other reason or the other, but chances are that's what's going to happen. Even the person is not as attractive as that person that came up to you and said, you know what, let's get married today. Because that person that you're saying yes to over time has been basically consistently pushing out the same message, their own quote unquote unique selling point. And you feel comfortable because you don't feel like they are pushing you into a decision. You feel like you are coming to that decision yourself. Meanwhile, it might have been a tactic of the person. The person might have felt that, okay, well, let me just play the long game. As long as I stay true to myself, I'm probably going to get the result I desire. So that's how you probably want to look at your marketing. When you're consistently pushing the narrative about your unique selling point, the sale becomes authentic, not impulsive. It's pretty much as I said before. People want to feel as though they made the buying decision themselves. They don't want to feel as though, okay, I was on YouTube and I saw this ad and that's the reason why I'm buying it. No, they want to make sure that, like I came to this decision, like I have a need for this thing. People still, obviously people have buyer's remorse and whatnot, but at that point in time, they want to feel like they are not being cajoled into making a certain decision, and that decision is coming from them. So that's the end of the first section, which is, just a breakdown of what is marketing. I don't know if anybody has any questions. Yeah.
No,
No
there are
questions.
questions at this time.
All right, great. So we'll just move on to the second section, which is the role of digital marketing. So we've heard about marketing. We understand the approach of marketing, the philosophy behind it. Now we want to understand this new thing called digital marketing and possibly how we can leverage it in our own business. So you want to look at, digital marketing as obviously marketing that happens online, marketing that leverages the internet, basically. I mean, it could happen on your phone, it could happen on your laptop, it could happen on your desktop, but basically it leverages the internet, So the internet provides an additional platform for us to amplify our marketing. So that's how you look at it. The reason why I'm stating this now is because the problem that I've come to notice with brands, whether it's mature brands, whether it's startup brands, is they look at digital marketing as the end all and be all. It's like, oh, if I master Instagram, game over. If I do my newsletter, game over. Like, yes, the internet provides this opportunity for us, but we also have to stay on our toes and think outside of the box. How am I going to, leverage other marketing platforms? Marketing could be you going to something like Fashion Souk. You might not sell a lot, but you are pushing your brand out there where people can see. A problem that a lot of these, our fashion brands that we face is that it's so easy for us to launch a fashion brand on Instagram and call it a day. And then when things come crashing down, we're like, oh, I don't understand what happened. We shot this really nice lookbook. We shot this crazy campaign. We worked with this. You can't just sit behind your computer and expect the world to come to you. You actually have to do the work. You have to get out there. I mean, we're going to have a case study later on, but I know this was not one of the examples I gave in the case study, but I'll just use it now so that it can be something that can ruminate in your brain. If I had an office wear brand, ready-to-wear brand, maybe it's for women, one of the things I might look to do is partner with a cafe. Why? Because if I'm targeting women that are working, women that are in corporate spaces or women that are entrepreneurs, chances are they're probably going to work at a cafe at some point in time. Or maybe I could partner with a co-working space. They might not wear my clothes to the co-working space or the cafe, but the thing is, you are trying to build a bridge between your brand and where your target audience is going to be. So you have to think 360. You have to understand the lifestyle of your target audience and say, how am I going to insert myself into their lives in a way that doesn't feel intrusive? And when you start thinking that way, you might soon start to find out that, yeah, like that's what digital marketing is. Like, it's important and it's there to amplify, but I have all these other out of the box opportunities that I can leverage that nobody's necessarily thinking about. And that's another thing you need to consider when it comes to marketing is you want to set yourself apart. Yes, you can be pushing out these messages consistently and intentionally, but you can bet your bottom dollar that your competitors and other fashion brands as well are competing for the same attention. So you want to also ask yourself, how am I going to set myself apart? In fact, that has to be a consistent question you're asking yourself as a business owner, especially in the fashion space. Because fortunately or unfortunately, in Nigeria, it's so easy to run or start a fashion brand. So you have to keep that in mind. Digital marketing is there to amplify. It has its space, it has its time, but do not forget that there are other areas that you can tap into. Now, I'll give you a practical example. So in the 1930s, the big studios, Universal, Paramount, these big studios, they kind of coined the rule of 7. And the rule of 7 was the belief that you had to show, or at least you had to advertise to prospective moviegoers about 7 times for your movie before they decide that they're going to head over to a theater. They're going to leave their house, head over to a theater and purchase a ticket and watch your movie. Now, I think the concept is still valid today, but not in the same way. I pulled from that, the rule of 28, and I will explain to you why I call it the rule of 28. It's nothing official, but it's something that I use and I leverage whenever I'm talking to my clients. You see, because the digital space is there and we are, as human beings, we are probably being beaten over the head with 40,000 to almost 60,000 messages one way or the other every day, both online and offline. You have to find a way to, again, set yourself apart, and you have to find a way to cut across the noise. And you also have to be realistic. Now, when I say you have to find a way to cut across the noise, this is where the rule of 28 comes. So instead of advertising 7 times, you're looking at going anywhere from 3 to 4 times that base amount, because obviously there are more platforms now and there are more brands. You're dealing with more brands within the space. And when I say you have to be more realistic, the rule of 28 says that, look, you're pushing your messaging to these people, to your target audience, 21 to about 28 times. But you also have to be cognizant of the fact that just because they are pushing out this message doesn't mean that they're going to reach into their wallet and buy from you. It just means that you're going to get them to a point where they can make an active decision as to whether or not they are going to support your brand or not support your brand. I mean, I don't know if some of you are at that stage yet, but you could open up a newsletter for your brand. And the thing with these newsletter platforms work is that they charge you based on tiers of how many people you're sending out messages to. Now, let's say you have sending out to 500 people. Your belief system is that these 500 people that you're sending out to, at some point in time, they are going to purchase from you because you've gotten their email address one way or the other, whether it's through physical engagement or through online engagement. Wouldn't it be sad that there is a person that is there that isn't ever going to purchase from you? You probably keep on sending them messages and they probably just keep on dumping it in the junk folder. So what the rule of 28 kind of does is it helps you push out the message, not only on the newsletter, but also on your Instagram and through other channels as well, so that this person is able to see the message enough times or see your unique selling point or understand your unique selling point enough times to understand that, well, you know what, when I think about it, now that I have a good understanding of what this brand's unique selling point is, this brand will probably never be for me. And then that frees up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe even 10 to 100 spaces for you to engage your true target audience. Because it doesn't matter that you are catering to 1 million people. All that really matters is that a certain section of people are consistently buying from you. And those are the most important people. Those are the people you want to cater to. That's what you call, lifetime value. Those are the people that you are going to say that, every time I release a collection, I know for sure that these guys are going to purchase it either for themselves or as a gift. They see value in what I'm delivering. That is where you want to get to as a brand. So once again, we've gotten to the end of the section. I do not know if anybody has any questions, Dami.
I think we can go on.
All right. I always feel strange
Ask all the questions when the presentation is
done.
Yes.
Okay, all right, perfect. Yeah, because I always feel strange when people don't have questions. It's either like I'm making a lot of sense or I'm not making enough sense. I'm like, I don't know. But the next section is the case study. And this time I picked basically what I mentioned before. So I started off with kind of a scenario and a unique selling point statement. This is a bit longer than what I would want somebody to put as a unique selling point, but let's just use it just for the purposes of this case study. So you're looking to launch your newest collection for a Lagos-based female-focused workwear brand, right? Your unique selling point revolves around being the go-to workwear brand for ladies 25 to 45, looking to be taken seriously, but still look glamorous while they run their businesses or navigate corporate Nigeria. Now, it's very important for you to craft this story yourself for your brand. You want to understand who you are targeting and why they will find your brand valuable. That helps you narrow down what channels you'll be using and how you'll be communicating to your target audience. It also helps you differentiate a cold lead from a warm lead from somebody that shouldn't even be considered a prospect. As somebody that is marketing your brand, you want to find the shortest road between the marketing and the conversion of sales. And the easiest bridge for you to build from point A to point B is having the best understanding of who you are targeting. Because even if your brand has a problem, maybe your designs are no longer as popping as they should be, maybe the quality is, maybe the quality has dropped for one reason or the other. These people are the people that once you know them very well, they're going to give you feedback and you're going to know that this feedback is useful and you're going to know where to approach it from. And they're also the people that are going to value your brand the most. Some people are going to, maybe you're going to send somebody like a dress that is too big or a shirt that the buttons have fallen off or for some reason you're there that might be an external factor. And these people are just going to decide, you know what, this isn't for me. I'm never going to patronize this brand again. It doesn't mean that they are wrong or anything. It's just that is probably the response they're going to have because they never really saw any value in your brand. You were never really catering to them. They were just maybe trying it out, seeing how things were. And to them, your brand could easily be replaced by another brand. So understanding the unique selling point and the scenario, you want to ask yourself, what's the first step? So what's the first step for this brand? If anybody can guess what the first step is, I'll say maybe write it down on your notebook or maybe type it somewhere. Before I go to the next slide, I just want to get a good feeling of, what people might think. The first step is when you want to embark on something like this. All right. So you've got to have a vision. That's what I always see as my first step whenever I approach marketing for a brand. And I know that this might sound like a weird first step for people, but it's a problem that a lot of fashion brands in Nigeria have. And that's why they take really strange decisions. Once you have a vision of what your brand is, once you can close your eyes and have a strong mental image of what the apex of your brand is going to be, whether you see your brand in a certain type of magazine, whether you see your brand on a certain type of billboard, worn by a certain type of person, if you can think of what success looks like for your brand and you can see it ever so clearly, then all the decisions that you make, whether it's marketing, whether it's business, they will all be directed towards something that makes a lot of sense. You might want to work with an influencer, for instance. you will know the exact influencer you are going to work with, because you know that he or she is going to speak to the vision of type of brand that you are building. But when you don't have a vision, you are looking for who got off Big Brother Naija, who is popping in the industry now, who is getting the most likes. I tell people, when it comes to influencing, people forget this cardinal rule. It's not necessarily about who is the most popular online. It's about who is going to influence your target audience. If you had, for a brand like this, what if we're not looking for who is popping online? What if we're looking for someone like Bokun Awoshika? So, she's not in 20, she's not 25 to 45, but if the age range was larger or the target audience was larger and we're looking for somebody within the business space, someone like her would be great. If we had a menswear line, we could go to someone like Tony Elumelu. It doesn't have to be someone that has so many likes on Instagram or is being talked about in all of the blogs. It's just somebody that serves the vision that you have. And if you don't have the vision, you don't necessarily know what you're aiming for. You're just shooting blanks or you're just shooting in the dark. And at the end of the day, when people zoom out and try to see the bigger picture of your brand, they can't really, it's almost like an abstract painting. Most people will never really get what you're trying to do. And those are the people that you want to get what you're trying to do, because those are the people that are going to patronize your brand and keep your brand alive. So I always try to have this saying, on my computer somewhere or written down on a sticky note whenever I start a project, which is, you can't hit a target you cannot see, and you cannot see a target you do not have. Anytime I run into a problem and I'm getting frustrated, whether at a person, whether at myself, it always helps me understand, like, what is the goal I was trying to achieve? What's my vision of success for this project? What I'm doing right now, is it serving that vision? If it's not serving that vision, then there's absolutely no reason for me to be engaging in it. Because as entrepreneurs, you have a finite amount of energy, physical energy, and you have a finite amount of mental bandwidth. And that's why, it's important to do things like delegate, automate, leverage tools and whatnot, because you have to, everything you do has to be pointed towards your vision. As a founder of a fashion brand, your goal should be, you're moving from working in the fashion brand to working on the fashion brand. And when we talk about working on the fashion brand, that means growing the brand. That doesn't mean you are answering calls, you're responding to DMs. That might be the stage that you are right now, but you have to make sure that every decision that you make serves a particular vision. And having that vision eases that decision-making process for you, because like working with this influencer, it doesn't make any sense. Leveraging this particular digital platform to push out our messaging, it doesn't really make any sense. It's better for us to just stick to these two platforms. This is where our target audience is, and this is where I really see our brand having a lot of life. So the next stage is having a plan. I mean, it kind of goes hand in hand with having a vision, but a vision is more of just like a visual representation of what success looks like. A plan is, what exactly am I going to do to get to this vision? Now, your plan is going to consist of 4 things primarily. I mean, obviously, there could be subtitles here and there. They could be expanded. But for me, when I'm trying to keep things simple and I'm trying to approach a project, whether it's marketing, whether it's some other project or the other, in the case of this workwear brand, we'll start by brainstorming ideas. For marketing, like I said, you need to think outside the box. If you have a workwear brand, is it possible for you to write a series of articles on LinkedIn? If you're looking for people that are, entrepreneurs or navigating corporate Nigeria, they most likely have a LinkedIn profile. Now, how often they are on LinkedIn, that's subject to debate. But if we're thinking about where we'll find them, that's probably where we will find them. So you have to think outside of the box. Could you have an online Instagram series where you are interviewing, various CEOs that women look up to, or younger women, or women within our target audience look up to? You have to be thinking like, what are the things that I can do that serve my vision, and maybe not all these other brands are not necessarily doing? Because some of these things, I think I might have mentioned it before. It's like some brands have money, like some startup brands, they do have money when they start out. Maybe they save, maybe they come from a certain family that has money. Maybe for some miraculous reason, they were able to get investors, but they don't know how to leverage their money intelligently because maybe they don't have that vision, or they're just fixated on this idea that, okay, as long as I have enough money, I should be able to get the best marketing. I'll just pay the most expensive photographer. I'll pay the most popping model. I will work with the most popping influencer, and everything will be sorted. I've seen that happen before, and it doesn't, it didn't work. I mean, I've seen that happen for a hair brand before, and they had the best visuals. I was so excited to work with them. But by the time I wanted to work with them, I mean, they had shot their campaign, they had shot their lookbook, the models were stunning, this and that, but they had spent so much money doing these things that when it was time to actually put the money into smaller tasks that could keep the engine going, it was done. And I don't know if their page is still on Instagram. But for the longest time, that thing I mentioned a while ago, that you start a brand at this point in time, it runs for like 1 year, and then I checked back at some point in time and I realized that, oh, they hadn't posted since early the previous year. So this is where brainstorming ideas comes into play. And when you brainstorm ideas, there is no silly idea. You want to make sure that you are not editing. You want to make sure that you are not editing your ideas at this point in time. So even if your idea could be have a billboard at Moriokola, your idea could be something like rent out a boat that has some sort of banner that is going from Ikoyi to Takwa Bay to Lekki. It could be for, I don't think I would do this for this particular brand, but what I'm trying to get at is sit down with yourself, or if you have a business partner, or if you have an employee, or it could just be a friend that maybe they mean your business well, or they've been very supportive, and just throw out the craziest of ideas, the craziest of the out-of-the-box ideas. What you'll find out in the editing section is that some of these ideas by themselves, they don't make any sense and they will not be applicable. Maybe they have a budgetary constraints, or for some reason you don't have the resources to execute on it. You might also notice that some of these ideas by themselves wouldn't work, but if you join 1, 2, 3 ideas, you then realize that, okay, putting all of these things together, even if I need to put a certain amount of money behind it, it seems like a more qualitative idea, and it seems like it will go places if I do. That's the editing idea section. Then the third section is allocating your idea. So what I mean by allocating your idea is, now you have your vision, you have your ideas. With everybody being in the digital age, I'm sure you have a fair understanding of the digital landscape as far as the platforms that we have, whether it's X, whether it's LinkedIn, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Facebook, whether it's MailChimp, whether it's Klaviyo, whether it's Pinterest. And these platforms I'm mentioning, we'll talk about them briefly. But basically, you have these ideas that you've edited and you're pretty sure you want to work on. You now ask yourself, which platform would these ideas work the best? Would it be best on LinkedIn? Like, when I was talking about writing those articles, about maybe navigating business in Nigeria, navigating corporate Nigeria as a woman, that could be something that this brand could tap into. Or, would it be the interview series with CEOs that we could put on Instagram, or maybe we could even put on YouTube? I mean, some of these things, you see, the cool thing about digital marketing is that sometimes you might create a piece of content and you might be able to leverage it on so many platforms that it might seem that you have a larger marketing power than you actually have. And you find out that you only have like maybe one social media person, and then you have YouTube, you have YouTube Shorts, you have TikTok, you have Instagram, you have Facebook, you have, WhatsApp, and, all this content is going out on all these places at different times. So that's where allocating ideas comes into play. Which platforms are these ideas going to be best communicated? And then last but not least, you have scheduling the content. Going back to what I mentioned earlier about being an entrepreneur for a fashion startup, you have limited energy, you have limited mental bandwidth. You want to leverage as much as possible. You want to leverage maybe partnerships, but much more directly, you want to leverage tools. You want to schedule your content. You don't want to have to set an alarm and say, okay, by 2 p.m. I'm going to have to post this thing on Instagram. Unless for some reason, maybe the platform you're using doesn't support a certain type of post, and then you have to post it organically. But by all means, whatever you can leverage, schedule this thing well ahead of time. And you find out that when these dominoes start falling, everything starts falling together and creating a larger picture. And a lot of work can result in 2 to 3 months of content that is just like amazing, and people are just getting so attracted to. All right, so I created a scheduling sample for you. It's not as thorough as what I would put together for one of the clients, but I just thought. So I don't know if you guys can see. Yeah, I don't know. So can you guys see this Excel sheet thing that has week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Seems to be showing. Dami, can you see it, or is this still showing the old screen?
I can see it.
Okay, perfect. All right, so like I said, this is just like a rough outline of how I would want to approach a general overview for marketing or a fashion brand. So maybe you've shot the lookbook, you've created some content already, some reels and whatnot. Now you want to disperse these things on different channels so that you're creating a larger picture and a cohesive marketing approach. And I'll zoom in a little bit. So here, with my brands, I always try to have them do an introductory video. You want to use this as an opportunity to tell people about the collection that you're releasing. So, for this workwear brand, we want to have a short video that tells about, okay, we're releasing this collection. This is the theme behind this collection. This is why this collection is perfect for you, our target audience. Maybe it might show clips of all of the outfits at some point in time, but it's more or less like a teaser. That's for week 1. For week 2, we launch the lookbook, we post, images of different pieces. Maybe we might post different angles of one outfit for like 2 days. It really just depends on how you as an individual fashion entrepreneur want to go about it. Okay, this is, yeah, okay. Yeah, there seems to be an error here. So you're going to launch the first half of the lookbook here, okay, so you're going to launch half of the first half of the lookbook, then half of the first half of the lookbook here, the same thing with the second half of the lookbook. You just want to space things out so that there's consistent content on your Instagram page and you're consistently engaging your audience. Now you can see that I've added WhatsApp. One thing I've noticed is that although people use a lot of WhatsApp, I don't know how often they leverage it as a point of marketing. I know that there's WhatsApp Business, and I know some brands have reached out to me. Maybe some brands have patronized before, but because I work with a lot of fashion brands, I'm surprised at how little the amount of information I get from them is when it comes to WhatsApp marketing. So when I used to work at This Is Us as their business manager, I know that this was something that we leveraged a lot. So we can introduce the collection via a broadcast. It might not necessarily be an opportunity for people to buy from it. It might just be kind of a teaser type of thing. Then from week 6, 7, 8, 9, however you want to do it, you can interchange between how to style certain pieces, because again, when people see your clothes, they want to be engaged with certain content. They want to know, like, okay, if I'm going here, can I wear this outfit? I love it so much, but I don't know if it's going to be appropriate. And that can be an opportunity for you to create content centered around that. Customer images are also important because you also want to show social proof that people are actually patronizing your brand. So people don't feel like, oh, like I'm the guinea pig, like, oh, why aren't people buying from this brand? Like there must be something wrong. But if they see other people that are buying from your brand, they'll be like, oh, okay, well, if this many people are buying pieces from their recently released collection, then it must be that this collection is good or this brand is good. Alternate angles from the lookbook. Now, when I say alternate angles from the lookbook, it's like you shot a lookbook and maybe in the past, you've shown pictures of the front, you've shown pictures from the back, but maybe your pieces have special features like pockets or specific type of zippers because you want to ensure that they don't have issues getting in and out of the dress, or maybe you want to show that your brand is sustainable, so you're using certain materials on the buttons. So those are things that you want to be thinking about when you're pushing out content on Instagram. Obviously, WhatsApp is there to support. Pinterest is something that a lot of brands don't use. I can understand why. It's not a direct marketing tool per se. It's more like it's building a general vision, and it's helping you sell a lifestyle to your target audience. But it's also content that can inspire your audience to be like, okay, you know what, like I wasn't really thinking about buying that shirt before. I wasn't really thinking about buying that scarf before, but I saw something on their Pinterest mood board, and it kind of inspired me to maybe I can find an alternate way of wearing it that might look cool. So it's more of a support. It's never really a pivotal part of your marketing, but it's definitely something that can come in handy depending on what your unique selling point is. Then you have a newsletter. So, maybe you might have MailChimp or Klaviyo, and intermittently you will just push out content. One might be an introduction, might show a picture or, a collective of pictures or from the lookbook. Then you might have one that's just a reminder that might show pictures of customers wearing the pieces. And then, so I think so this could also might also show a video. I mean, this could not necessarily have to show how customers are styling it, but you could just show a video of how the pieces are being worn, how they flow on the body. So like I said, this is just a very rough outline, but it's something that I put together when I'm working with fashion brand because it gives us an overview. So when we're creating the actual content, the copy, the wording for the different platforms, it's easier for us. We know that, okay, on week 3, we need to be conscious of the fact that we're pushing out content both on Instagram and WhatsApp, and maybe push a little bit of content out on Pinterest. Again, there could be more channels here. I mean, this Pinterest could easily be LinkedIn. We could have another column that says maybe we're doing some sort of partnership with a blog, maybe like Bella Niger. Maybe we are working with them to create some sort of like native content on their brand. Maybe an article about, girl bosses or stuff like that. And we can just put a column, a row that says media. And then we can just put, week 2, Bella Niger interview, week 5, interview with Chic, week 9, interview with La Mode, or week 12, interview with Pulse Nigeria or Business Insider. So those are just the things that you want to consider, that out of the box thinking and that consistent intentional messaging that comes together to create a bigger narrative So I'm going to see if I can switch back to this. Right. Sure. Okay. Right. Okay. So these are just some examples. I mean, this is how you might want to design your newsletter. It doesn't exactly have to be like this, but this is just an example. This is a lookbook that we shot a while back. And then this is an example of a customer image from the brand This Is Us. And all, like I said, all of these things come together to create a narrative around your brand. And last but not least, deployment. So just falls hand in hand with scheduling the content. Once you schedule it in either Buffer, Hootsuite, Meta Business, MailChimp, or any of these other platforms, you can just input it, schedule it for a certain time, and know that for sure it's going to go out there. And the best thing about using a scheduling platform is you get access to some key insights about your post that you probably wouldn't get if you're using the native platform. I know that on Instagram, it's very easy to get sucked into likes, comments, saves, and whatnot. Those are awesome insights. And I'm pretty sure that those insights were pushed because, Facebook had bought Instagram. So they felt like it was something important that they would need to show their customers that were using the platform. But on all these other platforms as well, you can also get important information about your post. And then in the future, you can know, okay, well, it seems that this picture that had 2 models seemed to perform better than this picture that had just 1 model. Experiment with that. Don't be afraid of experimenting until you get it right. And even when you get it right, don't be afraid of experimenting once again. You have to consistently adapt. So like I promised, you want to make sure that you've spent this 1+ hour and you've wasted that time. And so these are the takeaways. When you're engaging in digital marketing, and this is also applicable to traditional marketing as well, you want to have a clear vision. You want to know exactly what success looks like for you. You want to understand your audience because ultimately that is who you are targeting, that is who you are creating your brand for. And one thing I want to warn fashion startups about, not warn them specifically, but warn them about when it comes to running a business. If you're not solving a problem, if you're not bringing something unique to the table. Now, I'm not saying, because there's a workwear brand that has been started by somebody, you shouldn't start a workwear brand as well. But if you don't have it clear in your mind who you're trying to solve a problem for, you really have no business starting a fashion brand. If you're really interested in fashion and you want to be in the space, maybe go work for somebody else so that you don't go through the stress of, trying to navigate the market without a clear vision of who you are helping out or who you are creating for, rather. So you want to understand your audience. You always want to have a plan. So before you engage in anything, you know what success looks like, you know who you're catering to, but you also want to have a plan. You want to know what exactly you want to do and when you want to do it. And you want to stay consistent. Unfortunately, we live in a society now that it promotes instant gratification so much. I'm guilty of it too, so I'm not going to stand here, in a holier than thou kind of capacity. But one thing I've noticed about the most successful people in any industry is they kept on showing up and they were there for the longest time. One of the biggest companies, or the biggest company in fashion today, and one of the biggest companies in the world, LVMH, has been there more than 30, maybe 40 years now. The founder of LVMH, as it stands today, he has white hair, he has children, he has grandchildren. Where you are today is not necessarily where you're going to be tomorrow. You just need to show up. You're going to have your wins, you're going to have your losses, but the most important thing that you don't want to change is your ability to stand the test of time. So yeah, that pretty much brings us to the end. I don't know if anybody has any questions. The last 2 slides are basically just my contact information, and yeah. But that's pretty much it for me today. I want to thank Immerse again for providing this platform. And then I don't know if anybody has any questions they would like to ask me before I bounce.
Coach Faye, would you want to coordinate the questions, or can I go ahead? So if you have questions, kindly put them in the chat section so that we can have them tackled. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're most welcome. Thank you.
Even I have learned a lot again. I've been reminded about a lot of things.
So then I've done something today. You're most welcome.
Okay, do we have questions?
Yeah. Any question is good. I mean, there are no silly questions.
Okay,
I mean,
so, do you want to have your contact information?
Oh, okay.
So because you are actually speaking to a lot of businesses, most of them would obviously like to, work with you beyond this platform. So do you have like a slide that has all your details, or can you share it in the chat section? Okay, fantastic.
So yeah, so I just decided to put this up. So I put my personal Instagram page because on my different design page, I try to keep it to, behind the scenes work and our projects. But on my personal page, that's where I prefer to share like my musings on the fashion business. So that might also be helpful to some of you that, just want quick, things from, me.
Okay, fantastic. So there's a question here. Says, we have two questions, more questions coming in. Okay, so what's the difference between digital and red marketing, information marketing?
Wait, when you say, did you say red marketing?
Yes.
Like the color red?
No, like to read.
To read?
So I think what that means will be content writing. That's how I can understand it. Moriah Lawal, do you want to clarify your questions while I take on another question? So there's another one that says, for social media calendar, must the content posted be strictly based on the calendar, or can there be a mix?
Okay. So for the first question about the red marketing as opposed to digital marketing, I would say that maybe when you're explaining it, try to explain it without using a certain terminology. I think that might help. Then maybe I can give you the best answer, because I don't think I've ever come across that specific term, or red marketing or red marketing. But then again, I'm still learning every day, so it's very possible that I might have skipped that.
Traditional marketing.
Oh, okay, traditional marketing. Okay, I thought that as well, but I didn't want to jump to conclusions. So if I'm right, she wants to find out the difference between traditional marketing and digital marketing, right?
Yes.
Well, let me make it uncomplicated. Digital marketing is basically just leveraging the internet. Traditional marketing is more or less the things that we become familiar with over time before the introduction of all these platforms on the internet. So, I mean, not necessarily speaking for fashion businesses now, just generally speaking, because traditional would be if you see an ad in the newspaper, if you see a billboard, print, if you see something in a magazine, if you see something on TV, that's all part of traditional marketing, because, those things were big before the internet. Now, we have digital marketing, we have things like search engine optimization, we have the ads, we have influencers. So basically, if you just want to, you have marketing, you split it down the middle between what happened when the internet was pretty much became mainstream and a thing that people could easily access either on their phone or their computers, and everything that was kind of before and was unaffected by the advent of the internet, that would basically be the difference. So pre-internet, post-internet, I guess that would be the best way, or the easiest way I would explain it.
I think that was just Right. I'll just add also word of mouth. It's one of the
Yes, exactly,
longest
exactly.
traditional marketing that there is, referrals, word of mouth. So I'll just move to the next question. It says, must the content posted be strictly based on the calendar, or can there be a mix?
Well, I'm sorry, when it comes to answering questions, I get a little bit like complicated, but again, I'll try to answer the best way possible. Again, planning is very powerful because it's what you can control. Things are always going to happen in the industry. Things are always going to happen in the markets. Things are always going to happen in the industry. But as long as you have a plan, you kind of have a fair understanding of how you want to push out your messaging. Now, are things going to change in the market? For instance, I don't want to, I don't want to bring up something that is like a social thing or political. But let's say, people respond poorly to red, the color red, for some reason. And that is a color that is important to your brand. And maybe you're pushing out online messaging that has a lot of red in it. Does it mean that because your digital marketing plan says, okay, this graphic design that has a lot of red in it is still going to go out because it's part of the plan? No, you have to be adaptive. So that's kind of the approach you want to have to not only digital marketing, but traditional marketing as well, or just your business as well. You have to understand, again, the people that you're catering to. If there's a change in attitude towards a certain thing that doesn't affect your market, then maybe you exclude it from your thinking, or you exclude it from your plan, or you exclude yourself from adapting to that thing. But again, you want to ensure that, okay, I'm creating a solution for a certain target audience. How is that target audience relating to certain messaging? Is that messaging productive towards getting my brand into the hands of the target audience? If it's not, would I need to change my plan? Plans are always adapting, but your vision more or less stays the same. It's going to take a lot for you to change your vision, but your plan might end up changing. So it's the same thing with the social media plan. It's like, look, maybe at the end of the day, you want to sell 1,000 pieces within 3 months. And you think you're going to do that by doing a certain number of paid ads, influencer marketing, pushing out your content every 2 to 3 days. Maybe for some reason, somebody hacks your account, hacks your Instagram account, hacks your WhatsApp account, and those are pivotal parts of you pushing out your sales. Does that mean that for some reason you are going to give up your vision of getting 1,000 pieces out there in 3 months? No, it just means you have to adapt. What does that mean? Does that mean you're going to have to take out of money for the business and put together a pop-up so that you can meet up? Maybe. So that's how you want to approach it. I don't know if that has answered your question.
I think you've done justice to it. So I'll just take one more question. For all the other questions, we would direct them to the GStrop so you can provide detailed responses to these questions, and we will share them with everyone who has participated in this particular masterclass. And so the other question will be, for brainstorming ideas, whom should it be done with, or does it have to be an individual action? This is from Fade Oiko.
So it says, who should it be done with, and does it have to be an individual action? Am I correct?
Yes.
Well, I don't know what you mean by individual action. I mean, it's part of a process, which I highlighted earlier. I believe my screen is still showing. So it's part of a process. So, I mean, if what you mean is, do you do all of these things in one day? You could, but again, I mean, maybe I'm leveraging myself as an example. I put a lot of myself into the things I do. So by the time I've done the brainstorming of ideas, maybe in that day, I can only do brainstorming and editing. I find it very hard to do brainstorming, editing, and allocating ideas, as well as scheduling content in the same day. At the same time, I would be totally happy if I was working with my team and I said, hey, team, this project that we're working on, today, we're going to dedicate it to brainstorming. Brainstorming the wackiest, the most exciting, the most interesting, some down to earth, some up above, some over the head ideas. I think the more time you can allocate to each of these sections, the better. But obviously for some sections, they don't need as much time as others. Things like brainstorming ideas might need more time because that requires you to be relaxed. You don't have pressure of time on your head. You're not thinking about anything else. You're just giving your all to thinking about certain ideas. Editing ideas, you might not need as much time, but depending on the number of ideas you brainstorm, that may be how you relate to how much time you're going to need to edit your ideas. Allocating ideas might even need less time because you have clear and crisp ideas. You just have to ask yourself, where would this idea be best served? And then scheduling content, this can be done within like 2 to 3 hours. But the thing about scheduling content is you have to have created the copy, you have to have had the images and the media ready. Scheduling content is literally just what it is, putting it into the different platforms that are going to schedule the content, at a certain time. But yeah, as I'm sure you can see that as you come down the process, it requires less and less and less time. Why? Because you've done majority of the hard work in brainstorming ideas. So again, I hope that answers your question. I really hope I haven't just rambled.
You have not rumbled. I think you have answered correctly. Okay, so thank you so much, Deji.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Immerse. Thank you, Dami. Thank you guys for being my audience.
Your email and social media handles again.
Okay, I think this is it.
For easy communication. So I would like to hand over to Coach Faye. Coach Faye, are you back? Or do I just go ahead? Okay, so here is Deji StartUps details. Kindly send him an email should you need his services for your business, his phone number, and you can also follow his Instagram handles, the one for a different design and his personal handle. I'm sure from his personal handle, you can find the Prism Management, talent management platform as well on social media. Okay. At this point, I would like to say a huge thank you to Deji. It was insightful and it was quite enlightening. I'm glad that a lot of people, took a lot away from this session. And we can't wait to have the feedback forms, to see how, many people already have the action plans ready for rollout post this masterclass series. So thank you so much, Deji.
Thank you.
Yes, it's been great having you.
Likewise, it's been great being on this platform. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Should I stop sharing? I don't know how you want me to go about.
Yes, please. Thank you so much, Deji. You can stop sharing.
God bless you all. Have an amazing day.
And you too. Coach BC, we can't hear you at all. I hope it's not just me.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much, PM Damilola. I've been speaking and I didn't know that, I wasn't unmuted. Thank you very much. Thank you, PM Damilola. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. Please, what has it been for you so far? Super thanks to DG, super thanks to Rhoda, super thanks to, the PM project manager of this MOBALO Business Masterclass. Was so thankful for everything, that we have heard today. Even for some of us that are not even fashion entrepreneurs, we've gotten lots of insights and it has been such an amazing time. So please drop here what has been that one thing that has been insightful for you all through this session. Please let us know. So I think there's a question here from Oluwakorede. Please, is there anyone here that can produce a private label? So we might want to check that and answer your query. Thank you so much. Thank you for your feedback. You do amazing masterclass. Yes, it's been insightful, helpful, wisdom-packed. All right. Thank you all so very much. Coach Faye, you're here now. Can we see you? So I can just hand over to you. Coach Faye, are you there? Okay. Can you still hear me? Okay, I think we're unable to unmute Coach Faye. Please, can you help us, Immerse Coaching Company? Coach Faye, are you able to unmute now?
I can unmute now.
All right, great.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I want to say a big thank you to, I think we're wrapping up. I want to say a big thank you to everybody who has been a part of this amazing almost 4 hours today. We appreciate your time, and we want to say a huge thank you to our speakers, to the people who gave us so much wisdom and so much insights this morning/afternoon. It was an insightful session. It was a great time spent together, and we appreciate you. And thank you to everybody who stayed for the whole session as well. It's been 4 hours of learning, of somebody, it was PM Dami that used the word immersion at the beginning of the session, and it was immersion at the beginning of the session. And it was truly an immersion into, deep levels of knowledge. So before we go, does anybody, I want to know from people in the chat what your takeaway here. Again, it was truly an immersion. What your takeaway has been, what's your, one highlight from today's session? What's the one thing that you're taking with you as you go out from this session today? Please post in the chat and let me know. I will be looking forward to hearing in the chat or reading in the chats what your one takeaway from today's. Jojo says this masterclass has been greatly insightful and very timely. It is further proof that God is in support of my venture into the fashion industry. Amazing. I like that summary. Thank you. Is anybody else? Okay. Lois says, don't be afraid of experimenting until you get it right. I like that. Falashide says, I have learned how important it is to plan. Temitope says, even though you're starting small, think big and include it in your vision from the beginning. Also, think big, don't be afraid of experimenting. Knowing your target audience is really important. You need to research and put the right structures in place. The world is a global village and fashion is the currency. I really liked that a lot. Fashion business isn't just about skills. Keep showing up as consistently. Consistency brings results in the long run. Ulakorede says, I have learned to look at my business from its full potential. I am thinking big now. I really like a lot of people are going away from this session thinking big. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the 2023 edition of the Mo Balogun Fashion Masterclass. I want to say a big thank you to everybody for joining us this last 4 hours. It was a great session. Thank you for participating. Thank you for being such an engaged and involved audience. As we shared at the beginning, our team members, please help me share in the chat again. Please look out for, post-event surveys in your emails. Look out for some more additional information